morning. Welcome to Lawrence County Municipal Court. We're doing reviews first, and we have several of those. So when your name is called for review, come up to the table to your right, and we'll review your file. After we finish the reviews, we'll have the new cases, and I'll have some instructions for those people. So go ahead and call reviews.
Billy Scott Goody, James McClellan, Danny R. Dobson, Terry Fannin Jr., Kimberly Jones, Zachariah Kerr.
Billy Scott Goody is 2013-48. All community service is done. You have to pay off your funds.
I paid them off this morning, sir.
Okay, you paid off the balance. Well, I don't know if that's the whole thing, but it looks like, let's see.
Looks like you didn't pay.
I was gonna say, they said it was all over this morning. I paid the last $325 this morning when I got here.
Okay. And what about Spectrum?
I'm still going there.
Okay. Is Maddie here?
I call her.
Your last report was really good in January. Okay, I don't know if you're completed there. I need a report from them. I'll give you another hearing date. If they get a report in that you're completed, you don't have to come back. Otherwise,
Okay.
you come back for the.
Billy Goody.
They give you another date. March 27th. If you get a letter of completion from Spectrum, you don't have to come back.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. James McClellan. James McClellan's been called for, didn't appear. Danny Dotson. Okay, we're at Riverside. I've got a letter from them saying you are compliant. These case numbers are 20-223 and 19-2448. You still have community service to do.
So,
Is there any reason you can't get that done?
no, actually, I can get it done.
Okay, well, let's get a commitment as to when you're coming out. When am I gonna see you out here for community service?
Next weekend?
Next Saturday? Okay, Mr. Cooper, put that down. That's the 4th, March the 4th. Do you have a payment on your fines?
Yeah. Yes.
How much?
It's 25.
Okay, make that payment to the clerks.
I took my remedial class for my driver's license. I'm actually going to go get insurance today. Then I just got to go take the driver's test.
Okay, that's good. Do you have a job?
Yeah.
All right, let's get this finished up. March 27th is your next hearing, 9 a.m. See the clerk. Terry Fannin Jr. 21-315, 21-11-31.
I get paid tomorrow, and I was gonna
Okay, all you have left is fine and court costs.
Yeah.
Are you making a payment today?
And I get my check tomorrow, but I'm gonna pay $100 tomorrow, and then I gotta pay $155 for a release from the courts to get my license too. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. And then if I can work another day, I can come Saturday too. I think he said I got one day I can do.
I'll let you, if he works, we can give him credit, even if it's on cost. Terry Fannin Jr. Okay, I'll set your next hearing for April the 14th. You should have it finished by then. If you do, you don't have to come back for that hearing.
Okay.
April 14th.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Kimberly Jones.
A lot's happened since I seen you. My mom passed away. She's in the hospital for 6 weeks in December, and then she passed away in January the 21st. So we've been trying to work on going through her papers and stuff. And my sister's the executive of the state, and the lawyer said it could be 6 months to a year. So that's what I've been real busy, man. It's been a job.
Well, I'm sorry about your mother's death.
Yeah.
Can you pay anything on your funds?
Yeah, I'm gonna put 25 on it. It's probably gonna be the 3rd, though. That's when I get my HUD check for the rental places.
Okay, I'll set your next hearing for March 27th, 9 a.m.
Here's this obituary for you. And my appointment at PROAC was today at 9, but I gotta go tomorrow at 9 because I had to be here. So I went by and told them I'd come tomorrow at 9 because I had to be here.
All right, keep up with your appointments with them. See you in another month.
I see it's here the 27th of the next month
Yes, ma'am.
at 9. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Zachariah Curry, case number 19920. Community service done. You did some from the last hearing. You just have to pay off the balance of your costs. You did make a payment today. Okay, March 27th, you finish it up and pay it off. You don't have to come back for that hearing. March 27th, 9 a.m.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Eric Fuller, Shane Hatfield, Amy Jo Piles, Mitch Wright, James Scott Tarleton, Brianna Smith.
See, who's on the screen? I don't have, your name's not showing up.
I'm James Scott Charles.
Okay. All right, I've got your file here. I'll be with you in just a moment, sir. All right, Eric Fuller,
Yes.
14-2273. All you gotta do is finish your community service, and you did quite a bit since your last hearing. Showing 16 hours still left.
Yes, sir.
March 27th, you should finish it up by then. If you do, confirm that with your probation officer, you don't have to come back for the hearing. March 27th, 9 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Shane Hatfield, 18-1009. Shane Hatfield was called, hasn't appeared. Will receive a warrant for failure. Amy Jo Piles, is not here, was called for, gets a warrant. Mitch Wright, 08-2919. 08-1383. Okay, Mr. Reif, what are you doing to take care of your case?
I'm doing community service and working on my fines here and there.
You got something to turn in today?
Yeah, I got $5. I've had, my car been tore up for a month, so I just got it fixed.
Yes, Your Honor, he's turned in 5 hours.
Okay.
It is acceptable.
March 27th will be your next hearing. When you get this finished, you can still come to these hearings.
All right.
All right, James Scott Tarleton is on the screen appearing by teleconference. It's case number 17177. You've done, it's an OVI, you did all your community service, it's some extra toward your fine. You still have a balance, but it's not that big. How can you take care of the balance, sir?
I've been trying to take care of it for the last couple of weeks. I have to stipulate the front clerk, young lady. We can't find my name in the system. I just got on the phone with her about 8:30 in the morning. I talked to Mr. Major. He told me, don't worry about it. He'll fix it. Just take it to the court. So, just trying to see what I can make the payment. I've been trying to. It's not showing up on the system.
Well, it'll take, if you're doing it online, it takes a day for it to register.
No, I'm saying like when I put my information, it was asking for my first class, my case number, driver's license, not popping up. Even the lady at the front desk, I could get her name, she tried on her system as well, it's not showing up.
Okay, I don't know about
He
that.
just has to put his last name on it and then
Okay, Mr. Major, you know anything about that?
I believe he's having trouble locating his name because it's a hyphenated name.
Okay.
So he's having trouble paying online. And I told him after court to come get a hold of me and I'd try to,
Yeah, he just puts his last name only.
yeah. I told him to get a hold of me after court and I'll walk him through it and try to get it figured out.
All right, just call the probation office. You have that phone number, sir?
Yes,
All right, check in with Mr. Major, and he'll help you make a payment. And once you get this completed, you don't have to come back. So March 27th is your next hearing. Get it done before then, and you don't have to appear for that hearing.
I put it down now, if we can find it on the system, now I'll send it to the.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. Call in the probation. He said he would walk you through it. You're trying to make a payment. He thinks it's because your name is hyphenated. That's why it's not coming up. But he'll help you get it done. Call Mr.
All
Major.
right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Brianna Smith,
Yes.
18/11/91. You just have to pay off your fines. You've been making monthly payments. Do you have a payment for that?
Yeah, I'm gonna pay 30 and then I'm gonna use a card to pay the rest of it online.
Okay.
But I have 30 in cash today.
All right, see the clerk will make that payment. If you do pay off the balance before March 27th, you don't have to come to the hearing.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Caleb T. Ham, Cheyenne Bennett, Dakota Kraft, Bradley Smith, Michael McKee, Joseph Whaley, Sierra Evans, and recall James McClellan.
Caleb Ham. Caleb Ham was called 21/3/27, hasn't appeared. Be a warrant. Cheyenne Bennett. 22/5/13, called, didn't appear. Gets a warrant. Dakota Kraft.
Sir.
Case numbers are 2320, 22/130, 20/26/17, 15/9/28. Okay, I'd say this is a good report.
Yes, sir.
Looks like it was a little rough at the beginning, but the thing that jumped out at me. Dakota has shown exceptional improvement in most treatment aspects and appears to be following all guidelines. So, good job.
I've been trying.
Well, that's what it takes, effort. So let's keep up the effort, and I'll see you back in a month and keep watching what you're doing. So I think you're on the right path right now. Let's keep it up. March 27th, 9 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Welcome. Michael McKee, 221164. Okay, you've done some community service since your last hearing. You still have balance, and you got some fines to pay.
Your Honor, if I may, he came and talked to him this morning. He said he has some more community service to turn in. He's trying to get the paperwork.
Okay.
I told him as soon as he got it to me, I'd go and verify.
All right. Yours is a newer case. I'm going to give you more time for your next hearing. April the 14th will be your next hearing. 9 a.m.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Joseph Whaley. Joseph Whaley called for and did not appear, will receive a warning. Sierra Evans. Sierra Evans called, did not appear. Hasn't done anything on her case. Gets a warrant. James McClellan.
Your Honor, if I may, I have a note. Mr. McClellan was ordered on January 30th to have some community service done for his next hearing, and he's not been here for community service.
And what say you, Mr. McClellan?
I did do community service. I did it Friday,
Where?
Chesapeake.
Did you come here and sign it?
I did.
I can verify that, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, just have a seat and we'll call you back up. All right, sir, what's your name?
Bradley Smith.
Smith. Yes, ma'am. No, got stuck. Your file got stuck with another file. Case number 2377. Okay, you just got 3 days of community service left to do, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, get that done. Yours is a newer case, so I'll give you some more time. I'll make it April 21st. So almost 2 months, finish up your 3 days, and you don't have to come back.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Did you get any communication from the release form from the rehabilitation center?
I did not.
Okay.
You're supposed to go to ARC also, right?
Well, they didn't take my insurance, and
So where did you go?
I ended up going to ProAct in Huntington, and I went to, I think, 4 sessions, and each time they've told me I don't meet the criteria, and that I've been trying to tell them to communicate with you. I ended up signing a release form last week, I think.
You have, looks like just where you signed a release for them to give us information to Marshall Health.
Well, they
And
told me,
I don't have anything.
after I signed that, they told me they weren't going to make me another appointment. But if it's any consolation, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to test when I get out of here, and I'll probably test clean. So
Yeah, let's have you go do a urine screen and see, let's have him do a urine screen, because I had you do one before, and there was a problem.
Yeah, and I checked in, I think it was a week ago, and he didn't screen me that time. So he told me he was going to probably today.
Okay, go do a urine screen, and we'll have you come back after we get the results.
Thank you.
State of Ohio recalls James McClellan.
Your Honor, if I may, I did go verify, he was here Friday, it went toward an older case than he has.
All right, March 27th will be your next hearing. You guys get this community service done. Just keep setting hearings till you get it completed, or don't show up when you get a warrant.
Thanks.
Okay, that finishes reviews. Next are arraignments. So if you think you missed or supposed to be called for a review, did get called, go talk to Mr. Cooper or the clerk. The next hearings are called arraignments. If you missed a hearing before, you're going to get called now with the arraignments. So if you were supposed to be here for a review in the past, you're going to get called with the arraignments, not with the current reviews. Or if you have a new case, you're going to be called up. When your name's called, come up to the table to your right, stand there. I'll tell you what the charges are, the possible penalties, and if it's a misdemeanor, I'll ask you for a plea. That's your answer to the charge. The safest plea you can enter is always not guilty. That preserves the rights you have. Guilty or no contest waives those rights. And every defendant has the right to remain silent. You don't have to make any statements because you may incriminate yourself. If you do incriminate yourself in a statement, it can be used against you. It's all going on the record. You have a right to have an attorney appointed if you can't afford one. You have a right to bail and to make the state prove any charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If you enter guilty or no contest, you're giving up all those rights. You shouldn't do that if you don't understand what's happening, or if you want a trial or want to talk to a lawyer, then enter a not guilty plea. Call the first case.
State of Ohio versus Harold Weaver, case number TRC 23-198, A, B, C, and D.
Sir, are you Harold Weaver?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Weaver, it's alleged on February 24th at 5:43 p.m. in Perry Township that you were driving a vehicle while you were under the influence of either alcohol, drugs, or a combination of those substances. It's alleged that this would be your first time you've been, if you get convicted, your first conviction. On a first offense, under Ohio law, the maximum is 6 months in jail, $1,075 fine, and a 3-year license suspension. This charge has a minimum penalty too, and by that I mean the legislature says I can't go below a certain penalty if you're found guilty, and the least I can give you if you're convicted is 3 days in a treatment program, $375 fine, and a 6-month license suspension. That's the minimum penalty. The state's alleging that you submitted to a urine test. Those get packaged and sent to a lab for testing in Columbus, and it takes several weeks to get results. So I don't have any results from the test yet. They'll come back later. You're also charged with driving without a driver's license. That's what's called an unclassified misdemeanor. The maximum penalty is 500 hours of community service, $1,000 fine. There is no jail time on that offense. You're also charged with running a stop sign. That's a minor misdemeanor. The maximum penalty is $150 fine. And you're charged with distracted driving. That's a maximum penalty of $150 fine. So you've got 4 charges. Do you understand the 4 charges?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand the rights I explained at the beginning of court?
Yes.
Do you have any questions before you enter a plea?
No.
What plea do you wish to enter?
I'd like to enter a not guilty and try to get a lawyer, see if I can get one appointed.
Do you have a job?
Not currently, I'm not working.
You have no income right now?
Mm-mm.
When's the last time you did work?
About 2 months ago, I lost my job I'd had for 3 years, about 2 months ago.
Did you get any kind of unemployment?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I'll appoint Mr. Stiers in the courtroom. I'm going to appoint him to represent you. I'm going to let you sign what's called a signature bond of $1,000. You understand what that means? You don't have to post it as long as you come to court. And then let's decide when the best date would be.
I see this.
Yes.
Well, there is a urine screen, so it's going to be some time before we'll have the results on that back. So, I would suggest about April 24th.
Let me take a look at my calendar you're on. Don't write that down quite yet. Hang on just a second. It's probably fine, but just in case. I'm available, Your Honor.
Okay, April 24th will be the next hearing. It'll be a pretrial that day at 10 a.m. Not guilty plea is entered for Mr. Weaver.
If I may, Your Honor, it looks to me like Mr. Weaver has brought proof. He has proof of insurance here that covers the date of the incident. If I could show that to the court.
Can you why don't you just make a copy?
Make a copy.
Of that card and place it in the file, take your word for it, the clerk can show proof of insurance.
Thank you. I'm going to hang on to this for the moment. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, next hearing, April 24th, 10 a.m.
Thank you. Just wait for me in the lobby. I'll be able to talk to you in about 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna step out.
State of Ohio versus Rodney R. Ellis, case number CRB 2352. Rodney Ellis.
All right, ma'am, you'll have to go back and see.
Where do I start?
Are you're Rodney Ellis?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ellis, it's alleged that on December 28th of 2022, you were the owner keeper of a dog and that you failed to keep it physically confined or restrained on the premises. That's a minor misdemeanor. The maximum penalty is a $150 fine. Do you understand the charge?
Yes, sir.
You understand your rights?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead?
Guilty.
Guilty means you're admitting the charge is true, you waive your rights to have a trial and have a lawyer. You understand that? Okay, it's a very lengthy affidavit here. The prosecutor's office have their file on this.
I could get it, Your Honor.
Okay.
What's his name? I'm sorry.
Rodney Ellis. Mr. Ellis, just have a seat. I'm going to let the prosecutor's office get their file, and then I'll call you back up and we'll do the sentencing then. So just have a seat and we'll recall it.
State of Ohio versus David A. King, case number CRB 2351.
And you're David A. King.
Yes, sir.
It's alleged December 28, 2022 in Fayette Township, you were the owner or keeper of a dog that you failed to physically confine or restrain on your premises. It's a minor misdemeanor, maximum penalty is $150 fine. Do you understand the charge?
Yes, sir.
How do you wish to plead to this charge?
No contest.
Okay. I assume this, I don't know if this is related, I think it's the same.
Yeah, it is. It's related.
Okay,
We all
just
live
have
on.
a seat, and we'll have the prosecutor get their file, and we'll do the sentencing once I hear what they have to say about it.
All right, thank you.
State of Ohio versus Christopher Casella, case number CRB 23114.
Sir, are you Christopher Casella?
Yes, sir.
The bailiff's bringing you, I think you got the short copy.
Yeah, I got it right here.
He's bringing you a long form of the same thing.
Okay, here's.
You can keep that too. This alleges, the complaint alleges on February 18th of 2023 in Fayette Township, you purposely defraud Walmart of property without their consent. That's a first-degree misdemeanor theft offense, maximum penalty 6 months in jail, $1,000 fine. Do you understand that charge?
Yeah.
Do you understand the rights I explained at the beginning of court?
Yeah, but,
Do you have any questions before you enter a plea?
no, I mean, I don't guess. I'm kind of confused.
Well, if you don't understand what's going on or have questions about it, I suggest you enter a not guilty plea. Is that what
Okay,
you want to-
because I didn't actually, I didn't walk outside the store with them. I mean, I set my shoes down and I was walking around the store and I shouldn't have done that. But I didn't actually walk out the store with them but
Well, let's send you
I
a
tried
not
to
guilty
pay.
plea then, and
Okay.
do you have the money to hire a lawyer? Are you working?
yeah, but I ain't got no money to,
What do you do?
I work at HVAC stuff, putting in, units and stuff.
Are you paid by the hour?
Yes, sir.
How much per hour?
$15.50.
You have family? Are you supporting your own family?
No, we take care of my little nephew, but we don't, we ain't got custody of him or nothing. Him and my wife,
How many hours a week do you work?
40. I'm off the weekend.
I have a guideline I have to go by for appointing counsel, so it depends on what your income is. I have to determine your gross annual income. So it looks like it's about $32,000 a year. Does that sound right?
I think it's a little bit less. I make $15.50 an hour.
Well, that's what I use, $15.50 an hour, 40 hours a week is what I use.
Okay.
So that's going to be gross of about $32,000. So you actually make more than what I can appoint for when it's just you and your wife. Does your wife work?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, well, I'll consider, and you're supporting the nephew then, you're paying for his care?
Pretty much, we got him 5 days a week, and
You're feeding him and that?
Yes, sir.
sort of thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're right on the edge, so I'll go ahead and say you're qualified for court-appointed counsel,
Okay, thank you.
and I'll appoint Mr. Stratton to represent you. We'll get him in the courtroom.
Good morning, Larry.
Good morning. Hello. Mr. Stratton, this is Christopher Lasella. It's a Walmart theft. There's an issue about taking the merchandise out of the store. So I'm entering a not guilty plea for Mr. Casella. He can sign a $1,000 signature bond. And what's your availability for pre-trial? And I'm looking at probably the 6th.
The 6th is a bad day for me.
Okay.
So that was a 1.
How about the 17th of March?
17th will good?
March 17th will be the next hearing. It's going to be a pretrial
Okay.
at 10 a.m.
Alrighty. We'll step outside and talk.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And Mr. Hill, do you got two, not with you. Mr. Hill, I've got 2 cases on, I need a sentence on dogs. Do you have those files?
That may be one that
Jasmine was
Jasmine went
gonna
after, but I think she only was told about the one. Maybe you have both. She's got both.
Okay. All right, well, let's call Rodney Ellis first. I think these are related, but Rodney Ellis is 2352 case number. There was a guilty plea, so what do you want to tell me about it, Mr. Field? Mr. Field's the Assistant Prosecuting Attorney.
Your Honor, I could read the officer's affidavit if that helps.
Yes.
This is Deputy Orsman from the Lawrence County Sheriff's Department. This is on the 28th day of December 2022, Fayette Township. I was dispatched to 129 Private Road 99 for an animal complaint. Upon arriving, I met with a male subject, David Allen King, the same person I dealt with on December 25th about a dog attacking his dog. I informed David and Rebecca Lewis at that time that they could take their dog to the vet and take the bill to small claims court, and that I would try to make contact with the neighbor. I asked if he wanted to file a report, and he stated he just wanted to make it right. I knocked on the door of the neighbor, Rodney Ellis, with negative contact. I did not see any dogs at that time, and I went back to meet with David King and Rebecca Lewis to inform them that I could not make contact. I told them I did not see any dogs or get anyone to answer. David stated that he took them in. He knew he called the police. On December the 28th, I was dispatched out to follow up on the animal attack. I explained to David again that he needed to call the dog warden and stated that I had made contact today with them, but he should follow up with them. David tried to give me a receipt from the vet when I told him to fill out the statement and I would go talk to Rodney if I could make contact. I informed him I would not have taken him a bill or telling him he had to pay, that he had to go to small claims court for that. He stated he's ready to die for his dogs and that they better be. I asked him if he was making a threat, and he stated no, he was not. David showed me a Facebook message where Rodney Ellis stated, "Dogs will be dogs, and he can't help it." I got a statement from David and went to Rodney's. I contacted Rodney, and he stated that David has made threats and that his dogs was on chains or in the house, that David's dogs were always running loose. He stated that David posted that he was going to kill his dog and cut the head off and put it in his mailbox. Rodney asked that I talk to the other neighbors, that David is always making threats and that his dogs are always out running loose, and I explained that he could call the dog warden and he would come check it out. I then went to the other neighbor, Kenny Doss, and asked what he knew of the dogs running loose, and he stated that most of the neighbors has big dogs, but they keep them up. Sometimes they may get loose, but the only problems they have is with David King and his dogs. He stated that David's dog is always in the trash and tormenting other dogs. He stated that David is always treating to whip someone and causing problems. I guess that must be threatening. I went to the next neighbor's house, who is a female, Michelle Monique Doss. Asked what she knew about the dogs, and she stated that neighbor Rodney has some pit bulls, and that every now and then one gets loose, and she thinks it can be aggressive. But she said David has dogs that run loose, and they both need to be responsible for their animals, like all the other neighbors do. She said David contacted he and asked if she would tell me about Rodney's dogs. And that's the end of the narrative statement.
Okay. Mr. Ellis, what do you want to say about this?
I apologize, my dogs got loose. There is occasions all the time where my dogs will be up and down the road, theirs will. They got loose, I'm guilty for not keeping them restrained, is all I can say.
Okay. Where's Private Drive 99?
Chesapeake, top of Big Branch, a little, called Gerald's Hill.
Okay.
It's about 2.5 miles out.
All right, Mr. King, you might as well come up because it's the same affidavit for him too. Well, let me just tell both of you, and Mr. King, do you want to say anything? Or?
Yeah. We all live on, it's a private road. There's 5 places on the road. Just the other day, Mr. Dawson's dog got loose. It happens to all of us. 2 years ago, my dog was attacked by his. I didn't take it to court. It was my fault. My dog was in the yard. His dog came up with the kids on the four-wheeler. My dog chased it back. It got attacked. My dog left its yard. I didn't cause no fuss, didn't say nothing. This time, my dog was attacked on my porch on Christmas night. Since then, we've not had no altercations other than there was the reason I asked Mr. Osborne to come back out was I called and I said there was no contact made with him. There was being threats made on the internet. You know what I mean? And it was just going to escalate. And then we might end up having someone dead because of a dog. And that's not what we need. Bottom line.
Well, I agree with that. And, you know, there is what's called the leash law in Ohio. It's not very well honored, especially out in more rural areas.
Yeah, it's a problem.
People just let their dogs run loose, but you're supposed to have your dog either on a leash or behind a fence, or however, whatever you need to do to control your dog. It's your responsibility to keep your dogs on your property and off other people's property and out of the road. Because I was out Big Branch Road. Now, I don't think I ran into your dogs, but, and I haven't ran into a dog for a while, but just this last week, a fellow that I was with had a bad wreck because a pit bull ran out right in front of it. And the owner comes out and says, oh, he won't bite. Well, it doesn't matter if he bites or not. If you're going 20 miles an hour on a bike and he runs out in front of you and you hit him, you're going to go down.
Yep.
And you can get hurt. You know, motorcyclists, whatever, people walking. You got to keep your dogs up. Yes, sir?
Since 2 years ago, the one dog that was attacked, he bolts out the door on you. So now we have to shut the door, put him in a cage before you can go outside. Anytime he goes outside now, they're on electric shock collar and have been for over a year and a half. Unless he bolts out the door, you know, he'll clip your legs as you're going out, you know what I mean? And by that time, he's already out the door and you can't catch him. For the most part, I mean, people do keep their dogs on that road contained. It happens to the best of us.
Okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. It sounds like maybe things are, something you got to be vigilant about, because it only takes once.
That's it.
This situation that happened this past week, unfortunately, the guy wasn't hurt that bad, but shows you why you need a helmet on, because it cracked his helmet wide open. If he had a helmet on, it could have been bad. I'm going to give you both a $50 fine and court costs, but I'm going to suspend both on the condition we don't have any more incidents. So I'll make it a 2-year probation, non-reporting, so that's level 5. You don't have to report or anything, but if you have another incident within 2 years, you could get a new charge, plus then we'll go back and say, okay, you got to pay this one too. Okay, so just give you a little more incentive to keep your dogs up. Whatever you know, electric fence, leash, whatever you got to do, keep them on your property and out of the road. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions? If you want a copy, I'm going to sign a judgment entry. You can get it from the probation office, or you can look at it online. We have a website. So if you want to get a copy today, you go to the probation office and talk to Mr. Major. He's the probation officer.
Is that here in this office?
Yeah, to the left as you go out in the lobby. He'll give you a copy of the judgment entry. Okay. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. That's all.
You already think that? They said that you did, because they told me in contact with the agent.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
State of Ohio versus Dana Martin, case number TRC 23203. Dana Martin.
And ma'am, you are Dana Martin.
Yes.
Ms. Ms. Markham, it's alleged on February 25th at 2:06 a.m. in Perry Township, you were driving a vehicle while you were under the influence of alcohol. And it states alleged you took a breath test to test your alcohol level and tested 11. I'm just going to round off some of these numbers to make it easier for you to understand. They're saying your, breath test was 11. The per se level under Ohio law is 8. And what does that mean? It means if the state can show a breath test of 8 or higher, and they have to show they comply with the health department rules for giving a test, including calibration, that sort of thing. Then there's a presumption that you were impaired because you tested above 8. It is alleged that this would be your first offense. So on a first offense, the maximum is 6 months in jail, $1,075 fine, 3-year license suspension. The minimum penalty is 3 days in a treatment program, $375 fine, and a 6-month license suspension. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then your second charge is being left of center. So that's a minor misdemeanor. Maximum penalty is $150 fine. Do you understand these two charges?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand your rights that you have as a defendant? I explained those at the beginning of court.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about those or the charges?
I do not.
How do you wish to plead to these charges?
I plead guilty.
Guilty means you're admitting the charge is true. You're waiving your right to have a trial on the charge and to have a lawyer represent you. Do you understand all that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to accept your guilty plea. And I've got a report from, this is a State Highway Patrol citation. So the officer wrote a report to the court. I'm going to read it into the record. After I finish that, if you want to make a statement or explanation, you can, but you're not required to. The officer says on February 25th at 2:06 a.m., I was on patrol on US 52 near County Road 1. I observed a vehicle pull on the highway after it was stopped on the shoulder. It weaved within its lane, and I started following it as it turned right on County Road 1. On County Road 1, Perry Township, I watched the vehicle drive on the yellow dividing line and then go to the center of its lane. It then drifted one more time over the lane and was straddling the dividing lines. I activated my overhead lights to initiate a stop, and the vehicle came to stop on the right side of the road. I approached the vehicle from the driver's side, made contact with Dana Markham, and she had a front seat passenger. I could detect an odor of alcohol coming from inside the vehicle. I explained to Ms. Markham why she was stopped. I could see her eyes were watery and bloodshot. Front seat passenger also talked to me. I could tell that he was highly inebriated. I asked Ms. Markham how much alcohol she had consumed. She said, "I've had a drink. I had one drink tonight. It was a double shot, so I'm not going to lie." Her broken speech caught my attention. She tried to answer my question, asked her to step out of the vehicle, and walk with me to the front of the cruiser. Deactivated my forward flashing lights. She told me she did not wear contacts or glasses. She's not taking any medication, and she considers herself to be in overall good health. No history of head injuries. I could still detect an odor of alcohol coming from her breath, even though she was outside the vehicle. I got 4 clues for impairment from doing the eye test. That's called the horizontal gazing nystagmus test. I asked her to do walk and turn test. She moved her feet for balance. I ordered her, our passenger got out of the vehicle at that time. I told him to get back in the car. I told Ms. Markham that I believe she was intoxicated. She said, yeah, it's definitely a lot more drunker than I said he was intoxicated. She said, yes, he's definitely more drunker than I am. She had 5 clues on the walking tongue test and 3 clues on the one-leg stand test. She was arrested for ODI, transported to the patrol post, and agreed to give the breath test that showed a result of 115, so 11 and a half. She was transported to her home in Ironton. Okay, do you have a statement or explanation you want to make, Ms. Markham?
No, Your Honor, that's all
Okay.
correct.
Are you employed?
I am.
What do you do?
I am a server at O'Charlie's. I am actually moving today back to, I'm 2.5 hours away, back to Millersport, Ohio. That's where my grandparents live. So I'm transferring to the O'Charlie's in Reynoldsburg. I was actually gonna see if I could possibly get driving privileges, at least to work. Besides that, I am guilty for what I had done. So.
Okay. Yes, you can have driving privileges. You did have proof of insurance. You'll have to maintain that.
Your Honor, this is the first.
It is a first offense. Okay, I'll impose a $500 fine, order you to pay the court costs. You get a 6-month license suspension, and that, since you took the test and tested over, it started the day of the offense. It starts automatically as soon as if you take the test.
Yeah, he took my license that night, Your Honor.
Okay, well, you'll have to contact the BMV about, I will give you driving privileges. He sent your license into the BMV. I don't have them. They used to put them in the file, but I don't have them. So they were sent to the BMV.
Okay.
Now, on the driving privileges, there's 2 ways we can go on this. And this is fairly recent. I've always been allowed to give you limited driving privileges, and limited driving privileges are just for certain necessary things like to and from work. You're going to have community service. I'll let you drive to and from community service, and you'll have to go to a 3-day school. I'll let you drive to and from the 3-day school. Now, if you want, I can actually now, on a first offense, and if that's a new wrinkle in Ohio law, I can give you unlimited driving privileges, but to do that, you have to place the electronic device on your vehicle that you blow into before you start the vehicle. And that's at your expense. If you want to do that, I'll let you do that. You have to pay for the device, and there's a per-day charge for having it. It doesn't come to the court. It goes to whoever you get the device from. So I'll let you talk to your probation officer about that. The limited driving privilege doesn't cost anything. You just get a document from me saying you're allowed to drive for these purposes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any other necessary driving you would need? Do you have children or anything?
I do have children. I'm not in their lives at the moment, so that is not a primary concern at the moment. So.
Okay.
Just to work. I really don't go anywhere else. So.
All right. You can have limited driving privileges to work, community service, to this 3-day school. Now there is a 3-day school here in Lawrence County, but you're moving. And you're going to
Millersport, Ohio. It's in
that
Fairfield County.
Fairfield. Okay. Lancaster is the county seat. Okay, I'm sure they have a 3-day program there. So you can go to any 3-day program that's approved by the state of Ohio. So you don't have to come down here. If you want to come down here and go to one here, you can. It's here. It's a weekend program. I don't know. Probably in Columbus they have one going all the time.
Okay.
But you either have to do the jail time or you have to go to the 3-day school. So trust me, you would rather go to the 3-day school than go to jail.
For sure.
So you got 20 days in jail suspended on the condition you go to this 3-day driver intervention program, it's called. It's the 3-day school, you have to go stay. You have to go there and stay. It's usually at a hotel or someplace like that. So it is inpatient, you have to stay for 3 days. And that's required under Ohio law. 5 days of community service, we call that 30 hours. You have to do that. We have a community service program here. If you're moving out of the area, I'll let you do it in the area where you move to. So legitimate charitable organization, get proof from them on letterhead that you've done 30 hours community service, and we'll accept that. Or what we often let people do, if you want to work for a municipal court that's in the area where you live, a lot of times they'll let you work there, and then they'll give us proof that you've been there and done the community service. And we'll accept that also. Your review hearing is going to be October the 2nd, so you've got all summer to get all this done, even into the fall. You don't get it done by October 2nd, you got to show up for a hearing at 9 a.m., explain why you didn't get this finished. And if you don't show up, you get a warrant. So I don't want you to go to jail, but that's a way you could go to jail, by blowing off your review hearing, and then you get stopped for running a stop sign, then you don't get a citation, you go to jail because you've got a warrant outstanding.
Okay.
Okay, and on the left of center, I'll just impose a $10 fine on that.
Okay.
So, is there anyone here from Spectrum? No? Okay, well, you're going to talk to your probation officer. He'll give you the judgment entry that I'm doing. That's what they're typing now. I'll sign it. He'll give you a copy of it. He'll be your contact person with the court. If you decide you're going to do the community service here, Mr. Cooper here that's in the courtroom will be who you'll be working with on that.
Your Honor, I believe Taylor's waiting for me to come out.
Okay. Taylor will talk to you about your 3-day school. So you got two people to talk to, Taylor and Mr. Major. Mr. Major is your probation officer. Taylor's going to talk to you about the 3-day school.
Okay.
And do you have any questions of me?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay, go talk to those two people, and after that, you're free to go.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
State of Ohio recalls Bradley Smith, case number CRB 2377.
All right, that's an acceptable result. You still have some community service to do. And if PROAC doesn't think you need treatment, I need a report from them saying.
Okay, I've been trying to tell them, but they're acting, I don't know, they're acting like they can't directly communicate with you. So
Well, they have in the past, so they just give us a report.
I got you. Yeah, I'll go back there
Look,
because
write this down, get us a sheet of paper, because this could be a contact person at PROAC that can cut through some of this if you're having problems. Natalie Perry. Ask to talk to Natalie Perry, she works there.
What's the last name spelling?
Perry. Natalie Perry. She's a nurse prac, and she is very familiar with what this court does.
Gotcha.
Okay, any questions? April 21st is your next hearing here.
Gotcha, thank you.
April 21st, 9 a.m.
State of Ohio versus Randy C. Jackson, case number TRC 22-1401 A, B, C, and D, and CRB 22-689.
All right, this is, sentencing had been set last Tuesday. And I do have a report from Spectrum as of that day.
I didn't come up with, because this is the date that I wrote the last time I was here, I came up on the 20th, that's what, so I didn't know.
And Mr. Smith represents
Okay.
Jackson.
I did call you.
He's, okay. Your Honor, the reason he didn't show up on Tuesday, he had, in fact, he wrote down the court date, he put February 20th, which was the Monday, and he said the court was closed, so.
That's true. Okay, it's a pretty good report that he just got from Spectrum, so it doesn't say he's finished, so I guess you're still.
Yes, I'm still there.
So want to continue?
Yes, Your Honor.
For another month?
Yeah, and I'll write down the date for him, so.
Okay, let's try to get the right one this time. Oh, March 24th,
That's fine, Your
is
Honor.
that good?
Yes.
March 24th will be the next hearing. It'll be sentencing on 22-1401 and recall on 22-689.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
State of Ohio versus Ronald R. Spears, case number CRB 2140.
This is Mr. Morford's case. Need Mr. Morford. This had been set Friday, I think it was, yes.
Yes. That's my fault, Your Honor.
Yeah, it was set last Friday, he was not here. And I think Mr. Sowers probably contacted you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, he just has fines really to pay.
I start my new job today. I gotta take a drug test, start today.
Okay, you don't have anything you can pay today?
No, sir. I haven't worked.
I'll cancel the warrant. Set your next hearing for March 24th. You don't have that much left. You pay it off, you can quit some of these.
How much is it now? What, 220?
Do you have the balance on his, Ronald Spears? $200.
March 24th.
Is this the sentencing for the next time?
Yes. Sentencing March 24th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
State of Ohio versus Christy Bostic, case number CRB 23122. Christy Bostic.
Ma'am, are you Christy Bostic?
Yes.
Ms. Bostic, it's alleged that on February 25th, 2023, Fayette Township, you purposely deprived Walmart of property without their consent. That's a theft offense, maximum penalty 6 months in jail, $1,000 fine. You understand the charge?
Yes, sir.
You understand your rights? Yes?
Yes.
How do you want to plead to this
Guilty.
charge? Guilty means you're admitting it's true. You understand that?
Yes.
All right, I'll accept your guilty plea. I have an affidavit from a Ryan
Spenda.
Okay, Ryan Spenda. Says I was watching Christy Bostic on the sales floor. I saw her walk up to the self-checkouts and start under-ringing merchandise. When she was done, she walked past the last point of sale. Okay, any explanation or statement you want to make, Ms. Bostic?
Just a very poor lapse in judgment, sir.
State have any input on sentencing?
Well, Your Honor, it appears that it's there's not anything particularly aggravated about it, so we would not oppose a suspended jail sentence and some community service, and there's no indication that there will be restitution required.
Anything else you want to tell me, Ms. Bostic?
Sir, other than I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, my After doing this for years and years, and with the current situation that we have in our communities, it's become my standard practice to require people to have urine screens because I have so many people test. I'm not saying you will, but.
No, sir, I've been clean for 17 years.
Okay, well, let's have you do a screen, because I had recently a woman who I almost said, well, I don't think she needs a screen. She went and did a screen and tested positive for fentanyl.
Oh.
So, go do a urine screen, come back, and
Where do I do
will
that at?
send you after I get the urine screen results.
Where do I do that at?
Just go out in the lobby, make a left, and there are tailors out there, she will direct you where to go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
State of Ohio versus John McCoy, case number CRB 21744.
All right, we need Mr. Smith, Roger Smith.
I'll get to the two-day communities.
This was set for Friday.
This is Mr. McCoy.
On sentencing.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I don't know, I think it was on the sentencing docket because he had a bond.
It was, Judge, and Mr. Sowers was here and said he would contact me. Hopefully he would appear today.
And he did. You've got 2 days of community service to do. When can you get that done?
I'll do it this weekend, or Saturday anyway.
Okay, I'll set your next hearing for March 24th. Get those 2 days done before then, and you can quit coming to these hearings. And that'll be, this next hearing is the sentencing at 10 o'clock.
March 24th, 10 o'clock.
I'll let Mr. Sowers know so he'll quit aggravating you to come.
Oh, no problem. My mistake. I've got busy working. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'll cancel the, I guess there was a bond forfeiture hearing on him too. Yes, March 13th, I'll cancel it. Letting Mr. Sowers know, I'm texting. So next hearing for Mr. McCoy is March 24th, 10 o'clock.
State of Ohio versus Lonnie McDonald Jr., case number CRB 235, A and B. Mr. Holt's case. Okay, this is set for pretrial today.
Is he going to go ahead and plead on the resisting today? Well, we'll have the, we'll have domestic, and that would be, we'll have aggravated domestic charges. And then come back after he's finished that, and we'll dismiss it as a be much of an issue. He's going to have to talk to her.
Your Honor, I believe we have a resolution.
Okay, go ahead and state it for the record, please.
The defendant would be willing to enter a plea to the resisting charge upon a recommendation from the state of suspended jail time. And I believe we want to leave the domestic pending, and as long as there's no further problems and Mr. McDonald is able to complete a anger management course, we'd anticipate that being dismissed. He does travel for work, so if there's any providers that could help him get that done before the 13th, or if that would need to be something for, because he goes to Toledo for a month, and then after that he goes to Tennessee for nearly a month. I don't know if any providers could do that next week or 2 weeks, I guess.
Mr. Hill, do you agree with what the representative?
In principle, yes, there are some other issues that would need to be thought through. One of them is the fact that the alleged victim is a minor. Now, her mother's here, and she's in agreement with this. In fact, I think that she wants to speak to the court about the protection order. The child is 15 years old.
She just turned 16.
Just turned 16. Children's Services, what is their current involvement? Are they still involved, or? Okay, so Children's Services, we've spoken with them about what we had proposed to do, and they are on board with that as far as having him do anger management counseling on the domestic violence charge and keep that pending. Come back later if he's successful, and we would be agreeable to a dismissal upon the payment of court costs on that. And that's also based on the fact that he is pleading guilty to the resisting arrest charge, and our proposal on that is a 60-day jail sentence suspended and 2 years probation.
Does Mr. McDonald have health insurance?
He does not.
Okay, so this, I'm assuming he doesn't have a medical card if he's working.
No.
So he'll have to be self-paid.
Yes.
All right, any providers have a anger management plan? All right, Bethesda. Talk to Taylor to get something set up. And so, ma'am, would you state your name, please?
Ashley Hammonds.
Evans?
Hammonds.
Hammonds, okay. And you're the mother of HH?
Yes.
Which is house designated in the plan?
Yes.
And that's your daughter?
Yes.
She lives with you?
Yes.
Now, is Mr. McDonald in the household also?
No,
Okay.
not currently.
All right.
But there is a protection order. And I was,
So I guess that needs to be addressed, how we're gonna,
Yeah.
what we're gonna do with that. What's the state's recommendation on it?
Well, I believe that the fact that Children's Services is aware of with what we intended to do or what we proposed to do, that we don't have a problem with the dismissal of the protection order, as long as Ms. Hammonds is in agreement with that, and as long as Mr. McDonald stays in his treatment. And also, he's going to be on probation with a jail sentence if the court sentences, as we asked, to a suspended jail sentence of 60 days. So there'll be some control over the situation. So we're okay with that.
Okay. Do you anticipate that all three of you will be under the same roof then in the future, or not?
well, like when he's home.
He travels a lot for work.
Yeah, he travels.
So that had been the situation before?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. McDonald, anything you want to say?
No, sir.
Okay, so the domestic violence, which is 23.5B, will just be held in abeyance while we continue on and Mr. McDonald goes to his counseling. So I'll go ahead and sentence him on 23.5A, which is the resisting arrest. Just reviewing the affidavit, because I'm not familiar with the factual allegation. Okay, I'll impose a $300 fine on the resisting. Court costs, 60 days in jail, all suspended. And there was community service to be performed on this or not?
Well, we didn't discuss it.
Oh, okay, no community service. 2 years of level 4 probation. Assessment with Bethesda and treatment as indicated for anger management. I will drop the protection order at the request of the mother of the complaining party and set a review hearing, and let's make it a couple, well, review hearing and pre-trial.
You want to do like 6 weeks? Because he's going to try to get that course done before he leaves again for work.
You say 6 weeks?
Would that be okay?
Yes.
Because you'll be, at that time and up, you'll be back, right?
April 10th?
You'll be back on April 10th? Yeah, I can work around that far. Okay. That works, Your Honor.
April 10th will be the next hearing of the pre-trial on the domestic and review on the resistance. So I'll get a report then as to how you've been doing on counseling. So be compliant and of course no further problems.
And we have a time timer.
State of Ohio versus Darren K. Jackson, case number CRV 10-410, CRC 10-931. Your Honor, this is the sentencing of the terrible some reported medical leaves. Mr. Steyer's case.
I'm sorry, what was called? I apologize.
Oh, this is a very long time ago case. This is
Am I reemployed on this, or is this?
I don't think you were. I think it says a sentencing because there must be a warrant of bond.
Thank you.
This was originally a case from 2009 or 10. It was a DUI. I've paid my fines, I've done the community service. The reason I'm here is I cannot afford to take the class, the other class that's afforded, or that's given, I'm sorry. I have a hyperactive thyroid issue. It's called Wilson's disease. It comes from an accumulation of heavy metals being caught up in my liver, different ones. And it's just caused me to, be somebody stuck in the bed. I have a list of hospital visits here.
Let me just stop you there, sir, because here's what I'm facing.
Yeah,
Under Ohio law, you either have to do the 3-day school or you have to go to jail.
okay. I certainly don't want to go to jail, certainly don't. I have a job there.
Most people don't, so.
Yeah,
But I can't let you out of going to the 3-day school. You know, I can't say, well, he's got a good excuse.
yeah. It's,
There's no provision for that in our law, but their provision is you go to jail for 3 days or you go to the 3-day school.
I have several hospital visits here in the near future, in the very near future. Actually, I was going to leave here and go to the emergency room because I'm having a episode right now. It's kind of rough. I actually got my income tax form back. I don't know what I'm going to get back. Hopefully, it'll be enough to cover that. I didn't work, but roughly 5 months out of this last year due to these illnesses. And, you know, I've made every effort, Judge, I can to do this. I paid all the fines off up front, which was roughly $300, $400 some odd dollars.
Okay.
I've done my community service. I've done everything in my ability.
Sir?
Yes,
Did you hear what I said?
I did.
Do you want to go to the jail for 3 days?
I do not. I do
Okay.
not.
Well, I'm going to give you the option of trying to get this 3-day school done, but that's what the law requires of me.
I
I
understand.
either got to send you to jail for 3 days, or you got to show me that you're going to go to the 3-day. There's nothing in the law that says, oh, if he can't afford to pay for it, then I don't have to do, I can forget the other part, forget the jail part, because you couldn't pay for it.
I
So those are
understand.
your options.
How
You
much?
go to jail, and it's free.
How much time can you extend to me to try to get this
I'll
done?
give you, well, Maddie's not here. I'm gonna make it, I'll give you 6 weeks because there's gonna be a school coming out here in March.
Okay.
It's usually at the first of the month, and there's gonna be one in April.
Okay.
So let's come back on April the 14th, so that will give you 2 opportunities to get there.
What would be the time?
That's gonna be at 10 a.m.
Okay.
on April the 14th.
All right. Is there anything else, Judge?
You're welcome.
Thank you.
State of Ohio recalls Christy Bostic, case number CRB 23-122.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm telling you the truth. Even when I was on drugs, I did pain pills. I've never even seen that before. I don't know what it even looks like. I do know that I'm diabetic. I have had my meds this morning. I use feminine wash. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I put this on my daughter's life. I have no clue what ecstasy even is.
Okay. Do you have a medical card?
Yes,
West Virginia?
yes. I'm on 10 different prescriptions every morning for blood
Where do you
pressure.
go for your medical services?
Marshall Birth Center, internal medicine.
Okay. I want to send you to ProAct for a screening, and that's part of Marshall Health.
Okay,
20th Street and 8th Avenue.
okay. Would that be blood work?
Yeah, they can do blood work, sure.
I hope I don't pass out.
So,
I hope I don't pass out. I'm scared of
all right, I'll go ahead and send you on your, is there anything else you want to tell me?
No, other than I really, really am embarrassed and sorry, and it was a very bad, poor judgment call.
Okay, I'll impose a $100 fine, court costs, 10 days in jail suspended. I'm ordering you to go to ProAct for an assessment, tell them about your test result here, and they'll probably do a screening there, and then come back for a review hearing with me on April the 24th.
At 9 or 10?
That'll be 9.
Okay.
And you'll need to check into the probation office with Mr. Major.
Mr. Major?
Yes, and get your paperwork from him.
Okay.
Any questions, ma'am?
No, sir.
And your order to stay out of Walmart. Sorry, that's the biggest penalty.
That's,
You can no longer go to Walmart.
I understand.
You'll get a trespassing if you
Thank you, sir.
go check in with your probation officer.
State of Ohio versus Ronnie E. Morris, case number TRC 213013, A and B.
Is Mr. Hall's case set for pretrial?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Morris was scheduled for pretrial last week, and he tested positive for COVID. You can see her here. Come over here. So I need time to be able to go over the report with him if we can kick this out in a few weeks.
Okay.
Would the 20th, March 20th work?
Yes.
Write that down, March 20th.
Okay, finished request, case is continued to March 20th for a pretrial, 10 o'clock.
State of Ohio versus Davidell Tippett, case number TRC 222344, A and B.
Your Honor,
Mr. Holt's case?
filed a motion to suppress this matter, but I believe we've reached a resolution.
All right, Mr. Tippett is appearing by telephone.
Your Honor, I believe this, we're just, you're good to go. We treat this as a blood test first offense. We've asked for the minimums, statutory minimums, Your Honor. Mr. Tippett, there already was a ALS appeal granted, and at the time of the ticket, I'm not sure if the suspension, actually, I think it's already run. The time has passed.
Yes, he's had a suspension since August 21st. So the charges are ODI and running a traffic control device?
Yes, Your Honor, whether it's pleading ODI.
And we don't have an opposition to nulling the other traffic charge.
Okay. Now, it was alleged to be a refusal. Is there a dispute about that? Or?
Yes, Your Honor. He did submit to a test, but there was issues with the collection of it.
Okay. All right, I read the report about that. All right, Mr. Tippett, can you hear your counsel's explanation to the court? And yeah, I think your microphone's, let's see. If you have it off or if I have it off. Okay, it should be open now.
Okay.
Did you hear what Mr. Holt was saying to the court, sir?
Yes, I can hear you now.
And did you hear what your lawyer represented to the court?
Yes.
Do you have any statement you want to make or any disagreement with what he's represented to the court?
No, no, sir.
All right, anything you want to say, sir, before I finalize the sentencing?
No, other than, you know, at that time, I've been going through a lot of anxiety, you know, and been on medication for that. But I feel almost my responsibility, even though, you know, I may not remember, you know, the full effect or the full situation.
All right.
Right now, where I'm at, I'm also going to college. Even though I know I have to go through again.
Yeah, you'll have to go to a 3-day school.
I've explained that to him.
And you live in Lexington?
Yes, and he'll have,
Yes.
but with the suspension, he drives for work, he works for a Toyota plant, so.
You can go to any approved program in the state of Ohio. You don't have to come to the one here, so probably be closer for you to go to Cincinnati. And there'll be several approved programs there. You just have to find one that is approved by the state and complete it and get proof of that to the court. Okay, so on the OVI, I'll impose a $400 fine, court costs, 6-month license suspension starting August 21st of 2022. So that is up now, just barely. 20 days in jail, suspended, 5 days of community service. You can do that in his home area. You just have to furnish proof to the court that you did 30 hours of volunteer work with a legitimate charitable organization.
Would that have to be in a, I'm sorry.
That's okay, go ahead.
Would that have to be in Ohio?
No, you can do it there in Lexington. You have to go to the 3-day school. Now, that will be in Ohio. As far as I know, the state hasn't approved any programs outside of Ohio.
I've explained that to him, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes.
Your review hearing is going to be October 2nd. If you finish everything before then, you don't have to come to that hearing. Otherwise, you got to show up, explain why you didn't get the stuff finished, and in effect, ask for more time. The state's dismissing the B case, is my understanding.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, if you want copies of the judgment entry, you can contact the probation office, or Mr. Paul will get it for you. Any questions, sir?
No, not at all.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
State of Ohio versus Jason R. Smith, case number CRB 22784.
This is Mr. Permine's case set for pre-trial.
Thank you, Your Honor.
They may take our speed more seriously or something like that. We can do both.
May we approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Is he here?
March 27th. All right, this case is going to be continued to March 27th to complete more discovery. We call at 10 o'clock.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
State of Ohio versus Austin v. Benson, case number CRA 2394 and TRC 23131, A and B.
That's fine.
Judge, we're working toward a resolution in this case, but there's some question outstanding involving the allegation that there may be a prior offense here. It appears to be out of state, and we're unsure of the disposition of that. So I don't care if we come back on a later date to try to resolve it. If the court's docket's not very busy on March 20th, well, I'm sure it's busy, but
It's not too bad.
you have room on March 20th?
Yes.
I think we'll have it done by then.
And there's, because one of these is a felony, so there is a time waiver on that.
Yes, we waive time, Judge, and I believe we're going to try to resolve that one here.
Okay. Everything then for Mr. Benson is set for March 20th. Preliminary hearing and pre-trials at 10 o'clock.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
State of Ohio versus Joseph Foster, case number CRB 22545.
It's Mr. DeWaters' case. Set for pre-trial.
Judge, this is one that we had resolved a little while ago. The parties have requested that the case be dismissed. There was a pending divorce action that's since been resolved, although it's not going to be final until Thursday. Brian Cremines had represented the complaining party in the case, and he was here today and signed off on the entry, motion entry dismissing that party.
Yes. Is there a cost to be paid or not?
Well, that, we did agree to that. Yes.
No objection to that, Judge.
All right, be dismissed on payment of costs, and he can do that today?
Yes, sir.
See the clerk.
Thank you, Judge.
Entries approved with, I'm adding payment of costs.
He's going to do that now, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
State of Ohio versus John M. Curry, case number TRD 2346, A and B.
Let's approach him.
Mr. Dwyer, are you representing Mr. Curry?
Yes, sir.
Approach, Your Honor.
Yes. Did they charge him?
Huh?
They didn't. Yes, he gets that policies failure to control. Unless there's another file, I don't know. Oh, okay. I see the B case. There we go. So you want to plead to the fact?
It was a township road sign.
Judge, after discussing this with Mr. Hield, I think Mr. Curry wants to change his plea to no contest to those 2 traffic offenses.
Is that correct, Mr. Curry?
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to tell me before I do the sentencing?
No, sir.
Okay. On the failure to control, I'll impose a $20 fine. On the leaving the scene, $150 fine. And 10 days in jail suspended on condition you pay it. And it'll just be 1 court cost. Level 5 probation on the leaving the scene with a review hearing October 2nd.
I think he's going to pay that today, Judge.
Yeah.
Pays him today, no probation.
Okay. How much?
He pays both in the court costs, he won't have any probation.
Okay, he'll pay them both today, Judge.
Okay. See the clerk.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
State of Ohio versus Austin Neese, case number CRA 2385 and CRB 2386. Austin Neese.
Mr. Delauder's case set for preliminary hearing.
Judge, I discussed this briefly with Mr. Hill during pretrial conference. We had talked about potentially resolving it. I believe Mr. Hill needed to follow up on a couple of things before we could do that. If the court will allow me to reset this for March 20th, then I think we can.
With a time waiver.
Yes, sir.
You set for preliminary hearing again, March 20th, time waiver till then, 10 o'clock.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Don't leave yet, I'll talk to you.
State of Ohio versus Tanya Poston. Excuse me, that's Tanya Preston. Case number TRC 23165.
Mr. Delauder's case set for pretrial.
Judge, here's the situation with Miss Preston's case. She, according to the ticket, registered 172 on her breath test. She has no prior offenses. And when we looked at the actual breath test result, it looked like the target value when the machine was going through its sampling and self-testing procedures was a 102, and it was rendering a 099 result twice, so consistently. We believe that that calls into question the breath test result, and it could have been below the 1.7. So based on that, I think Mr. Hill's willing to stipulate to a low test result if my client will enter a plea of guilty, which she would do.
Is that correct, Mr.?
It is, Your Honor, and if the court looks at the alcohol and drug testing subject test report, the target value on the testing fluid is 0.102, but the dry gas control rendered a 0.099 on each of those tests, which would create the presumption, we believe, of a small margin of error. So we're willing to consider that in making a recommendation to the court for a treatment as a first offense low score.
All right, which is kind of technical, but do you understand, anything above 1.7 on a breath test is considered a high score? You're very close, only 2 100,000ths. But what the state is saying, I believe, is there's a known solution, and the known solution was 0.99. It was tested somewhat higher, so there could be some margin of error in the machine is probably within the 3 100,000ths, which means that yours could be below 170 if we, and because of that, the state's willing to treat it as a low test. So, do you understand that, and are you agreeable
Yes, sir.
with pleading to a low test score?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything you want to tell me?
No, sir.
Well, you're very lucky. Mr. Delauder's done an excellent job for you, and you're, like, as I said, within a few 100,000ths of being a mandatory jail sentence.
Yes, sir.
On your test score. I'm going to impose a $650 fine because your test score is high, although not high enough to require jail. Order you to pay court costs, 180-day license suspension starting the day of the offense, 20 days in jail, all suspended on the condition that you go to the driver intervention program and complete that. It's 3-day school. 2 years of probation, you have to do 30 hours of community service. I'll allow you to have limited driving privileges or unlimited. Unlimited, you have to place the blow and go device on your vehicle. If you don't want to do that, you can have limited driving privileges for community service, to go to 3-day school, employment. Is there anything else that you would need?
Yes, I have a 82-year-old mother-in-law that lives in Granite, Kentucky that I do take care of.
Okay, medical care for, what's her name?
Dorotha Preston.
Dortha?
Yes.
Dorotha Preston. Okay, you're to see, let's see, was there another charge? No, that was the only charge. She's to see Mr. Major in the probation office.
I'll have her do that now, Judge. Thank you. Review hearing date.
Review hearing October 2nd.
We'll go outside and talk to Mr. Major at the probation department. I'll meet you out there.
State of Ohio versus Courtney R. Hampton, case number CRB 22761. Courtney Hampton.
Judge, Ms. Hampton has been in contact with my office repeatedly this morning. She is in, she's in Wheelersburg. Her car broke down, but my most recent message is the tow truck is there. So I don't know. As of right now, she's still planning on heading here. But after discussing the case with Mr. Hill this morning, I provided the prosecutor with some discovery from our end that I believe he intends to sit down with the complaining party to review, and I don't have any objection to that. But that would require us to come back one more time, I think.
We did receive some video footage that is alleged to contradict what our victim has stated happened. Where are we moving to?
March 20th, if that's...
Okay, so state's in agreement to continue to March 20th?
Yes, Your Honor, and I've spoken with our alleged victim, and she understands it. We're going to have her watch some video that's been provided to us so that we can figure out how it fits into the story so that we have a better understanding of how to go forward.
Okay, next hearing will be March 20th for pretrial at 10 o'clock.
State of Ohio versus Jessica Thomas, case number TRC 2372 A and B.
Mr. Waters' case set for pretrial.
Your Honor, this is a OVI that's alleged to also be a high test. It's a little more aggravated than the other one. However, in this case, Ms. Thomas has already started some treatment to try to deal with some things going on with her. Her treatment, without going into too much detail, does involve some alcohol-related counseling and also some general mental health services. So I think Mr. Heald would like to see some progress reports and updates before making any recommendation on how to resolve this.
Where is she going?
So she's got a Kentucky medical card, and she is treating with a place called a Center for Change in Boyd County.
Not familiar with it.
Well, it's not, generally, it's not substance abuse counseling. It's more a mental health facility, but they do offer and have agreed to work with her on alcohol-related issues as well.
Okay.
I can try to get some information from them. I understand, I wasn't familiar with them either because we don't deal with them regularly.
So you want to come back on March 20th on that and have
Okay,
a
and
report?
have a progress report. Okay, that sounds like a good idea.
March 20th, we're have the pre-trial with report.
My understanding she was going to go ahead and plead today. Is that right?
Yes, that's what that's actually what we contemplated, was pleading today and then setting sentencing at a later date, Judge.
All right, we can do that. So the plea she wishes to enter is,
She would be fine entering a no contest plea, Judge, stipulating to a finding of guilt. And there are two offenses, Mark Lane and an OVI.
is that correct, Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Okay, based on the stipulation, I'll make a finding of guilty, but I'll delay the sentencing, I'll let you go to some treatment and encourage that, and hopefully that will help you out on your sentencing aspect. So we're going to wait and see how that goes. That's why we're going to come back to monitor your reports on your progress.
Your Honor, where's she going to treatment?
Okay.
A Center for Change.
Yes, in Boyd County, Kentucky.
I think affiliated with a hospital or a doctor's office.
I've seen or I heard a commercial about it.
Okay, next hearing is March 20th, 10 o'clock.
All right, thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
I see you.
I need
State of Ohio versus Zachary R. DeMint, Lawrence County Jail, case number CRB 23101, CRB 22553, CRB 22506. And a co-defendant, State of Ohio versus Tiffany Wiseman, case number CRB 23100.
We need Mr. Stratton in the courtroom for Ms. Wiseman. Mr. Thompson is here.
Yes. But it only lasts as long as he's on probation. They'll be on 2 years.
At least 2 years. To take that order.
Your Honor, it's time for me to speak. What we have here is a case in which Mr. DeMint is accused on 3 separate occasions of domestic violence against Tiffany Wiseman, and it was only the 3rd time in which it became a cross-filing. Now, in having reviewed the totality of the circumstances, we've determined that it is appropriate that, and also I think that Mr. Dement has some other sentence that's coming on that's going to send him to incarceration here in the near future. So if he pleads guilty to all three of these charges, we're going to recommend a suspended jail sentence of 6 months. And that can run concurrently with, he's going to be sentenced.
I don't know about the other one. Are you talking about the common pleas?
Yeah. Isn't there something there?
I don't know if there's anything about that.
Oh, I thought there was.
Yeah, that's in the case.
Oh, okay. There is a pending case that will be going to the grand jury. So our recommendation on these charges is 6 months suspended. And on Ms. Wiseman's case, we would dismiss that charge. So that's what we have in mind.
And we're in agreement with that. He's going to go to Riverside, if that's okay with the court today, inpatient.
Is that what common pleas recommend, was he go to Riverside, or?
Common pleas, is there still a holder in common pleas? I mean, I'm not his lawyer there, so.
Okay, so it can't be Riverside, right? Was he already in treatment? No, I have something from Mahajan. Is it Mahajan?
Right, well, he's not going back to Mahajan, he's going to go back to Riverside.
Well, she goes to Riverside, so he can't.
But you go to Bethesda, don't you?
Nope.
Your Honor, I was kind of mixed up with another case that we had as far as the,
At one point, he was supposed to go to Mahajan, but I don't think that happened. That was last fall, October.
But we have
You don't have a conflict, do you?
No, it's me.
Let's see.
She just said she's in Riverside.
I have a report from Mahajan from February the 2nd that said that he had some involvement with him. But,
Yes.
so as
Then
part of this,
he failed to appear after that, was kind of on the loose until maybe December. So I don't think Mahajan ever totally worked out.
My understanding is that Mr. Dement will be in residential and that you're in outpatient, correct? So,
Yeah, when he gets out of outpatient, well, the inpatient, he'll do outpatient, so.
well, maybe he can be transferred at that time to another facility if she's not completed.
I'm not a judge.
we're going to want a no contact order, that's for sure.
Well, if she doesn't want him around, then I won't let him go to the same facility.
No, I don't.
So, he's going to hometown?
Common pleas.
Does he have a holder from common pleas?
He has a burglary charge. I was co-defendant in treatment.
So he's going to hometown?
He's going to hometown at 1 o'clock. Common pleas is sending him there.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Hometown. He's going to go to hometown.
Well, we're not done yet, he's going to plead and get sentenced.
That's not him.
Oh, that's not him?
No, that's
Riverside. I'm sorry. That guy, okay.
Yeah. In the very flattering orange jumpsuit.
I've got this case all messed up in my mind. So I'm going to look and see what the status of the case in common police court is.
Good idea. I guess we could ask Mr. Dement. Mr. Dement, do you have an attorney representing you in common police court?
No, sir.
Have you been to common police court yet since you've been back in jail?
No, sir.
Okay.
They said it was pending, is the last time I heard.
Okay, we're checking on online what they're showing on their docket, so.
The case has been filed in the clerk's office, but it hasn't gone to the grand jury yet, so it is pending. And
is there a bond on it?
I'm thinking that he waived his preliminary hearing from here, so there is a bond.
It wasn't from here. Everything from here has been a misdemeanor.
Can we hear from hometown if they have some information for us? We need to hear it.
His assessment already Friday, and I texted Kathy, and she said that he is coming to us today. She is the other blonde who she sits in.
Right, but they've not let him, they've not agreed to this and come.
Okay, there was a bond on a burglary, so sorry, that, I just, they didn't bring that file up. February the 6th, the bond was set at $10,000.
Okay, so he's in jail on that. And so we had not anticipated giving him credit on these charges for his current incarceration because that is based on a separate incident. But we would agree to suspending that.
I don't think I can release him for treatment at this point. He already waived to the grand jury.
Right.
But can't we give him an OR bond here that kicks into effect once they resolve what's going on in common pleas?
The common pleas will say it's bond, not me.
And if he pleads guilty, there's, all you would do then is sentence him, and then there would not be a bond.
On the misdemeanors.
On the misdemeanors.
Well, okay, so basically the practical effect of this is he's gonna sit in jail until.
It's going to be that other charge.
Okay. Okay, it doesn't change things here. We're still going to allow him to be released, subject to common pleas, allowing him to be released.
Well, it was my understanding that what was recommended was that he plead, I would sentence him. I wouldn't be holding him in jail, but he's got the holder waiting on the grand jury. So, who knows how long that was February the 6th, when's the next grand jury?
We just had the grand jury last week, so whether his was part of that or not, I don't know. We also are asking for no contact with him.
It sounds like there's some, I don't know, do you want to go ahead and conclude this? There's a lot of unknowns at this point.
We can find out quickly, I think, whether he was indicted or not.
Should have been this last grand jury.
When was it bound over, Your Honor?
The 6th of February.
So they're,
sorry? What?
it was bound over on the 6th of February, so they would probably have had time. We'll see.
So you want to do some checking and recall us? Mr. Thompson, you got something in Scioto County?
I'm good for another 20 minutes.
Well, Your Honor, I mean, I don't know that, and I think it's important.
We can discontinue it because he's not going anywhere either way at this point.
Okay, well, we just texted Jackie at the prosecutor's office.
We're just trying to find out how long he may be sitting.
But he won't be sitting because of these charges.
Right.
If he pleads.
If he pleads.
He pleads, right.
He was indicted. So, okay. Approach, Your Honor. If you want to continue it, that's fine. That's fine. I don't know that it makes any difference to this case, but if he wants to continue it, that's fine.
Well, we'll dismiss, I don't see any reason to make Ms. Wiseman come back.
Yes.
If they wants to dismiss it, I'm agreeable with that, it'll be nominal.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
As to Mr. Dement, we're probably not going to know anything. I mean, I'll continue to Friday. Do you think we'll know something then, or you want?
We will, yes.
Can we continue to Monday?
Yes.
Monday's fine.
That'd be the 6th. All right, Mr. Dement's case is continued to March the 6th.
And Your Honor, what is the bond currently in these cases?
$2,500.
Okay.
Your case is continued to next Monday, Mr. Dement. Perhaps you will be kind of pleased by that. Perhaps not. Hard to say.
State of Ohio versus Melissa D. Shepherd, case number CRA 22797.
Mr. Thompson's case. Preliminary hearing.
She have pictures.
What did you send me this picture? Just give me your phone number.
Just not do this one. Just do my Yahoo.
What's his name?
Was that the last thing retired?
Mm-hmm.
It was?
Yeah, they were supposed to come and get all my property. And they took the new TV we found.
So she said,
Well, but yesterday, Seth Summers said we will be helping. She stacked the tires up in one spot while we asked so we can get that. Yes. Your Honor, if it please the court, the enforcement officer, we've been working with him or communicating with him about the cleanup process. And he's reported that Ms. Shepherd has made progress and that I spoke with him yesterday. And he said that she had stacked up the tires that were remaining so that they would be easy for them to, and the enforcement officer was going to help her get rid of the tires. Now, he says as of yesterday that the tires had not been cleaned up, but that they were in a position to be cleaned up. And I don't know whether Ms. Shepherd has a different set of facts or what's going on there. But we would be agreeable to another continuance to allow this whole thing to get completed.
That's who took the tires.
okay, well, this is the camera, the tires been taken away.
The tires are no longer on my property.
Is that the last issue of tires?
Okay. Was Mr. Summers out there himself, or was
It
other
was an
people?
old guy. He didn't give a name
When
or
did that
anything.
happen?
Oh gosh, it's been about 2 or 3, maybe 4 weeks before court. Probably last month.
Well, I don't want to disbelieve Ms. Shepherd.
But the tires had been removed and they took an old TV.
All right, so what we'll do then is this, Your Honor. I believe under the circumstances, she's got a picture of a truck from the solid waste people with a trailer on it. She says that that's already been done. We would be okay with to reduce this charge to littering, which I believe is an M3, and then we would ask the court to impose a suspended jail sentence. And then that way, if it wasn't completely done, then we have some recourse. And I believe that she's not trying to lie to us.
What's the suspended days?
10 days. And costs.
And we also claimed more Rumsky took it.
Yeah, I have the section number.
So I'm looking at
3767.32.
What was her plea?
What plea she entered, Mr. Thompson?
Guilty.
Is that correct, Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Anything you want to say?
It wasn't mine, I cleaned it up. There's been more vehicles up and down. I still keep cleaning whatever they throw up and down my road. And I do have a trash man now, and my daughter's grandpa does not burn no more, which he's getting in the age. So it's all being still took care of.
Okay.
Rumpsky and Orton is my trash man.
I'll impose a $100 fine and I'll suspend $150 as long as there's no further problems. Suspend 50. Order court costs paid, 10 days in jail suspended. Do you need time to pay?
Yes, I'm on a fixed income, sir, and my daughter got a message earlier. My daughter's asthma, she's been sick all week with it, and she's in school, and it's flared up on her.
Okay, I'll set level 5 probation review hearing on October 2nd. She'll need to go see Mr. Major under sedation.
Is this to pay the final?
Yeah, it's if you, does she need to show up if
If I
everything's
pay that
done?
final.
If she's paid it, she doesn't have to show up.
Okay, how much is it?
Well,
I'll get it.
it's like 200 and some odd dollars.
I could probably pay that in the first.
Okay, well, you talk to them about that.
Okay.
Okay. And that's the 2nd?
October 2nd.
Okay.
And if I pay it, I don't have to come, right?
Go check in with Mr. Major for probation.
I'm done.
State of Ohio versus Amber D. Ward, case number TRC 2316, A and B.
The Waters case after pre-trial.
Judge, this one we don't have done yet. Mr. Hill did provide me with discovery, which included a video of the stop. There was there were two witnesses to this alleged incident. One of them was a passenger in Ms. Ward's car. One of them was an unrelated person. So I'd like to have an opportunity to discuss with the witnesses what they observed and how that may affect Ms. Ward's case. In any event, it shouldn't take me very long to do that. Ms. Ward's off this week, so she's going to get with me this week so we can work on it. So if March 20th isn't already too busy, then we could do this one on that day. Hopefully have it done.
All right, March 20th will be the next hearing at 10 o'clock.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
Will you remember that?
No, right now.
Okay.
Sorry. 90.
State of Ohio versus Stephen T. Wells, case number TRC 222615, A, B, and C.
Stephen Wells is Mr. Waters case, pre-trial on motion.
Yes, Your Honor, and I believe we filed a motion on the 22nd, I think. So I don't know that Mr. Hill's had a lot of time to look at it. I did talk to him briefly today about what we're alleging. There is no chemical test, so this has exclusively to do with the alleged performance on standard field sobriety tests, and then also some statements allegedly made by Mr. Wells. So I don't care, I don't know that we're in a position today, Judge, but I don't care if we want to actually set it for a motion hearing, it's fine with me. If we want to have another pretrial on the motion to see if it can be resolved, that's okay too. Whatever the state prefers is okay with us.
Mr. Field?
Well, and Your Honor, I overlooked this motion, and I knew that he was going to file the motion, and I just didn't see it, and I haven't looked at it. So I would prefer if we could do another pretrial on the motion, but however the court wants to proceed is fine.
It's fine. When you want to come back, Mr. Delaware?
The same day's fine.
March 20th.
Thank you, Judge.
December 20th?
Yeah, sorry.
Pretrial on motion.
State of Ohio versus Michael Shore, case number CRB 2315.
Hopefully that'll be the last time. All right, buddy. Sorry. You're a good one.
Mr. Delaware, please.
This one, Judge, we moved to today with the idea that we would work with the state to get a hold of the dog warden to try to get him out there to recover the animals that are causing a nuisance, because Mr. Shore insisted that they were strays and that he doesn't have any dogs. So in the meantime, he's taken some photographs for me of a number of dogs that are still out there, just stray dogs, because they bother him too, but I don't think anyone's actually caught the animals. So I don't know what to do about this.
Or we can have the warden subpoenaed to a hearing.
Well, I actually have been in contact with him and asked him what he knew about it or what he's done, and actually, this is what he said. We've been there a couple of times. Allison, who's the complaining party, only has a small dog in the house. Michael has dementia. I guess he's another household person there. Have been talking to nephew. No dogs running around while we have been there. So our approach was going to be, if these dogs don't belong to Mr. Shore and they're out there, then they're dogs running at large and they ought to pick them up. So they've made attempts to pick up these dogs, but haven't seen them. So that's where we stand right now. I also know that the last time we spoke with the complaining party, Allison Pennington, she said that this is as of January 31st. There was still one of them who was still running loose. So I don't know at this point what to do. I think it would be a good idea to make contact again and see if it's still the case. Now, in a prior hearing, Mr. Delaware, on behalf of his client, had indicated that they would pay the vet bill of $114. If that could be resolved today and then determined going forward, if there's a dog problem with dogs running around out there and nobody's claiming ownership of them, then somebody needs to clean them up and get them rounded up.
Yeah, if it helps resolve the case, my client does not have any objection to that, even though he doesn't want to admit, the dogs are his. But if it helps get the case resolved, absolutely, he does not have an objection to that.
So if he does that, we would agree to a further continuance and talk to the complaining party again and see where everything stands.
What is this for?
Apparently one of these dogs bit the complaining party's dog, is what the allegation is. Now, just so everyone's clear, though, Mr. Short insists that there are still many dogs running around loose out there in this area. He has sent me pictures since court last time of at least 6 different dogs that he says are still running wild out there. So he wants them gone too, but no, it's not a situation. And here's what's going on. The complaining party actually shot some dogs and were prosecuted just a few months ago. And so they are hesitant, I think, now to try to remedy the situation themselves because they got prosecuted for shooting the stray dogs originally. So I can understand why they don't want to do that.
That wasn't in this court, was it?
I think so. Was it here?
This lady's 70, oh no, that's her date of birth, never mind. It says she's 79 years old.
The case was ultimately dismissed, but
I don't remember that.
I'm not sure if it was with, I assume it was with you because all these houses are in your jurisdiction. But anyway,
I don't remember a case where there was dogs shot.
I don't either.
well, my client would not be opposed to these people remedying the situation. And if a stray dog comes onto their property, they're not his dogs. So we're broadcasting for the record right now that he owns no dogs. So if these people feel like they need to protect their own animals and their property by extinguishing the threat, then we do not have any objection to that. Because I don't think the dog warden is going to be able to catch these dogs just by driving by.
Well, and how's the state going to prove ownership if he claims they're not his?
Well, I think that the victim has some idea about that also. Here's another suggestion. I mean, if these dogs are running around and there's a whole bunch of them, then undoubtedly they're a problem for Mr. Shore too.
That's right.
So maybe if he called the enforcement officer also, that might be helpful, because it sounds to me like it's a problem for everybody that lives in the area. In the meantime, we would not attempt to make it an indication of guilt if he paid the vet bill, which he's indicated he'd be willing to do. And then we come back at a later date and see if we've made any progress on capturing the dogs in question.
I mean, that's
and I'd like to have pictures of those dogs too.
Yeah, I don't mind, Judge. Do you think it'd be appropriate just to set it for a bench trial so we don't keep?
That would be fine, make the witnesses show up.
Yeah, and then if we don't get it resolved on that, then we just don't have a little hearing.
Okay. 20th at noon?
That's okay with me. That's all right. If that's okay with Mr. Hill, unless he has a different, I don't care what we do, but I'm just trying to think of a way to bring it to resolution.
12 p.m. on the 20th of March.
Do you think it makes sense?
I don't know what to think about it, honestly. I mean, these people, I don't think they just make up stories, but.
State of Ohio versus Gregory McNeely, case number CRB 23-3. Gregory McNeely.
Mr. Smith's case.
There's been no further incidents out there, has there? There's been no further incidents at all, has there? No. Since back New Year's Eve. How are you related to Zach? Since Nancy.
How about, did he follow through with the minimal treatment that was recommended?
Yeah, where'd you go? Down here at the one in Chesapeake, I don't know the name of it. With the path down here in Chesapeake. With the lines of wonderful, Bill Bank. Is that what it is? Right across from Mexico. Yeah. He went.
So, Your Honor, back in January, we had agreed to a continuance for a based on the allegations and input from the alleged victim that Mr. McNeely should undergo some substance abuse assessment and treatment. Now, Bethesda came back and said that he had the need for minimal services. And so we agreed, well, that's what it is, then, and we actually discussed that fact, with the court at that time. So what we wanted him to do was to follow through with that, and then we would be agreeable to a dismissal upon the payment of court costs if that was done. So all we need to know is to have some verification that the treatment was followed up.
My notes where he was gonna go to Bethesda.
Yes.
Since he went to PATH and you underwent treatment with PATH?
Yeah, down here, come on down here. I don't know the name of it, I forget. Because they had me going to
Here in
this
Chesapeake-
place, and
Chesapeake
then they
Plaza?
moved me to another place, yeah.
Maybe we have one more pre-trial and get a report from wherever he's been. He says you've gone, right?
Yeah.
I'll try to figure that out, Judge, and so we don't waste the court's time today. Maybe have one more pre-trial. We'll waive time, and I'll see if I can get a report. So you do not treat with Bethesda.
They had me going to one place, and then my insurance covered this other place would take my insurance.
Okay.
So they moved me to another place.
I'll call.
That's where the confusion, heck, it had me confused too, because they tried 2 or 3 different places.
I'm here, my March schedule, Judge, is any Friday in March. My Mondays are kind of iffy.
All right, March 24th.
March 24th. Yeah, 3/24 at 10 o'clock. You know, when you leave, they go down to PATH, make sure you sign the release that they can talk to me, okay? Just to my, yes, I recently talked to my lawyer. Do
State
it.
of Ohio versus Virginia M.
Yes, sir.
Malone, case number CRB 2368.
Your Honor, she has a companion case, Daniel McGlone, represented by Mr. Steyer.
Daniel McGlone.
Yes, Your Honor.
State of Ohio versus Daniel J. McGlone, case number CRB 2365.
Your Honor, it's my understanding that the state is willing to drop the charge against Ms. McGlone if Mr. McGlone is willing to plead. He's willing to plead no contest with stipulation of a fact sufficient for a finding of guilty should the court grant that motion.
We reviewed, Your Honor, the video evidence and the facts as alleged, and we determined that that's the appropriate course to take.
And what says Daniel?
He's willing to enter a plea of no contest with stipulation of fact sufficient for finding of guilty. We had discussed a suspended jail sentence and fine. He did 4 days in jail in this case, and for that reason, the state was agreeable to not recommending community service.
All right, so Virginia McGlone, 2368 is Molly.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
And Daniel McGlone, do you have anything you wish to say, sir, before you?
No, sir. I just want to get it done and get it over and
Never again.
never again.
Or he'll be divorced.
Beautiful. It was just a stupid mistake.
Okay. I'll impose a $100 fine, court costs, 10 days in jail, suspend 6, credit for 4 served, order to stay out of Walmart, 2 years level 5 probation, review hearing October 2nd. See Mr. Major.
Can we start that after his surgery? Or do we need to start the argument?
Just still waiting on confirmation.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're up.
State of Ohio versus Joseph E. Blake, case number CRB 22796.
Mr. Stratton's case.
Your Honor, Mr. Blake is going to be sentenced to, in a felony court on the 1st. I believe the prosecutor is just going to dismiss this case. I'm not sure where he's at today, but. I don't think he's locked up. The letter says he's not locked up. You just go ahead and dismiss it. 6 months. That's what the letter says.
When is he?
It's on the letter.
According to this, Riverside reports March 1st is when he's going to plea, or he's turning himself in.
Yes.
He's already pled.
Yeah.
I've represented him in a common pleas, Judge, and he's going to be sentenced Wednesday to 6 months, I believe, in prison.
So, Your Honor, previously, we had the victim here, and the protection order was dismissed, and we continued this case based on the fact that the OVI case in common pleas court was still pending. And we were also apprised of the fact that he was going through some sort of treatment in common pleas court while the case was pending. And so we were satisfied at that point that that was sufficient for the purposes of this case. Also, the alleged victim was okay with the dismissal of the charges, particularly in light of, well, that was the plan from the get-go, I think. But and now that he's been sentenced to some time in prison, we are agreeable to going ahead and dismissing this charge.
Okay, case here will be dismissed. No.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
State of Ohio versus Donald Dickus, case number CRA 23104 and CRB 23105.
Mr. Steyer's case.
Your Honor, this matter is charged as a felony OVI, but upon further examination of the facts, I think Mr. Heald and I agree that there's at least a possibility that what we have here is a physical control rather than an OVI. Now, I'm working without benefit of full discovery, but looking over, talking to Mr. Dickus and then discussing the matter with Mr. Heald and looking at his file, we believe that's probably the appropriate way to go. However, we're not ready to actually pull the trigger on that quite yet. So what we're going to be doing is asking for continuance, waiving time constraints, and leaving the case pending here while Mr. Heald takes a little bit closer look at the fact pattern. In the meantime, however, the vehicle in question was towed from the scene and has been held in impound during that time frame. Should this be an OVI, the vehicle would be subject to forfeiture, but should it be a physical control, the vehicle would not be subject to forfeiture. So with that in mind, I'm making a motion to Mr. Heald, I believe is agreeable, that the vehicle be allowed to be removed from the towing facility upon payment of tow costs by Mr. Dickus to his property in South Point and immobilized there until we get this all figured out. So that if down the road it winds up that it is in fact subject to subject to forfeiture, neither the state's not going to also end up with a multi-$1,000 tow bill, and Mr. Dickus isn't in the event that it's not subject to forfeiture. But in any event, it'll be undrivable. We're going to be immobilized.
Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Draft an entry to that effect, and I'll execute it after Mr. Heald has approved it. So then, when do you want to come back on this?
Again, we're going to waive time constraints, so we would ask for a date convenient to the court, and I don't know how much time Mr. Heald wants to look into the issues he wants to look into.
Whatever suits everyone else.
I'm here the 13th of March. If that day would work, it gives us a couple weeks.
That's fine. March 13th will be the next hearing.
Okay, don't leave. I'll get an order for you to go take and get your car. But you gotta wait for me to get that order signed.
There's a time waiver till March 13th.
You 13th, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay. 10 o'clock.
State of Ohio versus Jeremy W. Lewis, case numbers TRC 222562, A and B, and CRA 2267.
Mr. Steyer's case set for pre-trial and preliminary hearing.
Your Honor, we're following Mr. Dickus through treatment with Pathways. I have a letter here. I'm going to show Mr. Heald, and I'll bring it
Well, I
forward.
have a text from Randy West. Let me send that to both of you, Mr. Okay, just sent. This was text I just received this morning.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
I have a letter dated the 27th stating that he's compliant. And it appears to be on the letterhead and side.
Well, they are at opposites to each other.
Yes.
I can send a copy of this to Mr. West. Because when he says recently stopped coming, he must mean really recently.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at I went and checked the dated letter in case it was an older letter, but it's
Same
not.
day.
It's today.
Okay.
Stand tight.
Well, let's see if we can get a response. You want this?
I went out of town. I missed a couple of appointments because
May I approach you
I
again,
made
Your
them
Honor?
up already.
He indicates that he did miss a couple of appointments due to a death in the family, traveling for a funeral.
Yeah.
But that he's made those up, which might be maybe the individual that sent the text was looking at older records, but we need to look further into this. Just gonna have this matter recalled, Your Honor?
Yes.
Just have a seat. We'll get you cut back up here in a minute.
State of Ohio versus Zachary Alwoods, case number CRB 21347, and CRA 22389.
Mr. Norfolk's case. Good report.
Hey.
Congratulations. So what would you like to do, Mr. Murphy?
Judge, I'd like for him to continue. He's making amazing progress from the first time I met him. He would like to have his ankle monitor off. He is still working at McDonald's, and as you can see from the report, he gotten off a number of substances.
Mr. Hill?
Well, we're very encouraged by his progress. That's the first thing. The part about the monitor, we don't want there to be an opportunity for him to slip up at this point. I mean, he's made so much progress, so I guess we'd leave it to the court to ask him maybe some questions about that subject.
You're living with your father now?
Yes.
And he's with you today. Yeah. How are things going?
Pretty good.
How's he getting back and forth to work?
Me. I think my fourth word.
Well, this is, I'm just getting a limited snapshot today, but I'm impressed. This is the best I've seen him look.
He's doing good.
I don't want to mess it up by changing things if it doesn't need to be changed. Let's do this. Give me another month of good report, and then I'll take it off. I promise I'll take it off next month.
All right.
But, you're doing really well. I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised how well you're doing. So keep surprising me. I mean, I don't want to say I was skeptical about you, but let's just say you're doing great, so much better than you have done in the past when I've seen you. And I just want you to continue in that direction.
Okay.
So, I don't want you to get discouraged, but I don't want to blow things up either where we have to go backwards. So, I want to see you do this for another month, and then I'll make a note in case something happens to me, that we'll take the monitor off next month. All right, so, March 27th?
What date, Judge?
March 27th, 1 month.
I'm free then. I'm here.
Good job, Zachary.
Hey.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
State of Ohio versus Beverly Hines, case number TRC 222783 A and B. And TRC 23182, Beverly Hines, H-I-N-D-S.
Are you sure it's not Randy?
Randy.
Oh, excuse me, it is Randy.
It's Mr. Morpher's case.
Give me, let's see, I have case number 222783. What was the other one?
23182.
Hi. Good. Well, I just turned in the paper.
Okay, where?
And she's at ODP and really just getting started there.
OBP.
How's it going?
Yes, inpatient. It's going great.
Good. Finish out March 26th?
Yes.
Well, why don't we come back here March 24th?
Okay.
Your Honor?
Yes.
She has 2 OVIs pending.
Yes.
And this was one where she appeared remotely the other day, and we wanted her to come in today. I think she's just being arraigned on the new one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, on the second one.
Yeah.
We did that from the jail, I believe, didn't we?
No, I didn't.
You were at home,
Okay,
I'm
let's
sorry.
go ahead just to make a good record on it. 23-182 is the last one. It's alleged to have happened February 18th at 2:57 a.m. in Perry Township with a refusal. There is a copy. Do you agree that she's been served and you waive any?
We would agree to waive any defects in service, Judge.
Okay, and I'll appoint you to represent her, Mr. Morford. And she can sign a $2,000 signature bond. Not guilty plea is entered. And set next pretrial for March 24th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Now, also, Your Honor, this other charge, I think, was on for, well, maybe it wasn't on for a pretrial today.
I did have it listed today.
So we'll need we need to do something on that if they're willing to waive time. And so now that we've got 2 pending, we want to proceed with the first one unless they come up with a way to convince us on how to treat both of them together if she would plead to both of them.
Is there a time waiver on 22-2783?
We'd waive time on both of them, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Especially since she's in treatment.
Yes. Okay, next hearing is March 24th, and we'll expect to discuss at least how we're going to handle the first, if not both, together.
Understood. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
State of Ohio versus Tyler Adkins, case number CRB 21-628, A, B, and C, CRA 21-509.
Tyler Atkins is on Blue Jeans. All right, is Tyler Atkins there? Tyler Atkins. Okay, Tyler Atkins is showing on the screen, but not getting any response. So we'll pass it until, if and when Tyler Atkins does appear on the screen.
May I approach for a moment, Your Honor, between cases?
Yes.
State of Ohio versus Linda Hamilton, case number TRC 22-2687.
Your Honor, Ms. Hamilton has retained me this morning, however, she, I believe, has stepped out to go to the restroom.
All right, we'll recall it.
Thank you.
All right, Tyler Atkins is now appearing on the screen, and his attorney, Mr. Morford, is here.
Judge, I understand from his grandmother that he will graduate Cardinal on Friday. I do not have a report for you.
Okay, well, does that see it, is that in Ironton, or where is it?
Which part?
You're in Portsmouth?
Lucasville.
Lucasville, Your Honor.
All right. Well, we need a report from Cardinal. Can you get that, sir?
Yeah.
And then you'll be, where will you be living after you leave there? Oh, you're coming back to Proctorville? Okay. Well, let's set a time when you'll be back here and we can get a report from his treatment. What's good for you, Mr. Moore? Yes. March 6th? That's next Monday.
March 6th.
You'll be out by then? When is it, do you finish?
The 3rd, so yes, I will be out.
Okay. Is that-
I'm here then.
Okay, March the 6th will be your hearing, and expect to see you here in the court of Chesapeake on that day, March 6th at 10 o'clock. And either bring a report or have them fax or email one to the court. Okay, good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Ohio recalls Linda Hamilton, case number TRC 222687.
This is Mr. Steyer's case.
Your Honor, I've just been retained on this matter, so I have not yet had a chance to file for discovery, or really even look at the file. But I did look enough to see that the mandatory waiting period on driving privileges for this first offense OVI has passed. So I prepared an entry. Also, proof of insurance was shown on the ticket. I prepared an entry allowing her during pendency of the case and conditioned on maintaining liability insurance to be granted driving privileges for the purposes of employment, medical treatment, and court appearances. If the state's agreeable with that, I prepared an entry. I can get Mr. Hill to sign the same and present it to the court.
And the state treated us as a first.
It is a first with a refusal and an additional in 20. At least that's what it.
Permission to speak.
No, please do not. May I approach?
Yes.
General documentation.
What you say can be used against you, what I say can, so just please don't speak on the record.
I understand my rights.
Let's give you the phone. Okay, when do you want to come back?
You're coming from a pretty big distance. How long would it be before you could get up here easily?
I drive 18 hours.
So how long would it be till you could get here, do you think?
What do you mean?
We're gonna have a date to come back to court.
What
When would
is
be
the
convenient
date
for
and
you?
I'll be here.
Okay. I'm gonna file discovery and I wanna have a chance to take a look at the discovery, so if we could go out about a month.
She can appear by teleconference.
Oh, that may work as well then. That would be better then.
Yeah, I know.
I have trials on the 20th and 27th, the 24th or the 31st of March. Either one would work for me if there's a day that's better for the court.
31st.
And we would waive time constraints to accomplish that, Your Honor.
Next hearing will be March 31st for a pretrial, and I think it'll be mostly preliminary matter, so the defendant's welcome to appear by teleconference if she wishes.
Does this give me driving rights?
The order he signed does that, and I'll take it and get it entered.
State of Ohio versus Nathan Wicker.
Thank you.
Case number TRC.
Thank you, Your Honor.
22-2401.
You'll get that entered, so just wait for me in the lobby.
Okay. This case is beat anyway.
All right, this is Mr. Smith's case set for a sentencing hearing. Okay, it's a good report on Mr. Wicked. He's already pled guilty. We're monitoring treatment now.
Correct.
So we started this in December with treatment.
That's right. That sounds right, Judge, yes.
How do you wish to proceed?
I don't know that we're there yet, but we should be getting closer. I think that perhaps another sentencing/review type hearing would be in order.
April 3rd? That's a Monday.
Yes, I've got stuff at 9 o'clock in front of Judge Howard in Huntington, but I can be here by, yes, that'd be fine.
April 3rd, another sentencing hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Ohio versus Tracy L. Dement, case number TRC 22-548, A, B, and C, TRC 20-22-77, A, B, and C, and TRC 21-35-22, A, B, and C.
Is that for sentencing? Do you have a report?
I don't know where Bree's at. I guess where she's pregnant, but I have been going to my counseling. I've got an appointment Wednesday, and I went to my last appointment, but I don't know, I have not seen Bree. So I don't know nothing about the report.
And you're going to the dip school?
Yeah, I'm
You have
going
that
there on the
scheduled?
16th on March. And I paid the fines on the other thing you told me. It should be done. That last two, I had three. The one I'm doing the driving school on the 16th. The fines are paid on the 2nd, and now we're just going to be dealing with the one. So good. And I'm having that loading gun installed tomorrow. Interlock. Yeah, the interlock. So I'd like to get that paper as soon as I can.
Okay, I just texted to get an update report, and what about your older cases? Are you?
The fine's paid on the one, and I've just got to do the driving, which is March 16th, and that'll be done.
Okay.
I already did an 8-hour class for that first one.
And then, well, there's still that 21 case needs, looks like there's still money owed on that.
No,
That
I
was
should,
on failure to control.
I paid everything off.
He's correct, there's not anything showing that he owes, that may not have been
Okay, just didn't get the file.
updated since, those are with the regular docket, I don't think anyone takes those like they were review files.
All right. Let's come back in another month and try to get a report from OVP.
Please, Your Honor.
All right, March 27th.
That's good here.
Thanks, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Ohio versus Brittany Caldwell, case number CRB 13-1153, A and B, and CRB 13-1057.
All right, this is sentencing. You've been a PROAC, right? Did they give you any kind of report to bring with you?
I can get one if you need it, but I do have my proof of my prescription.
Okay. Well, what do you got there? So you're in the MAT program, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, give me a report the next time you come back.
Okay.
And I told you you could work off your fines and costs.
Yes.
Are you gonna do that?
Yes.
March 27th for sentencing, 10 o'clock.
If I pay it off or work it off before then, will I have to come back for this court date?
I want to see the report from ProAct.
Okay.
At the Lawrence County Jail, State of Ohio versus Sarah A. Woods, case number CRB 22-326 and CRB 21-686.
Okay, this is Mr. Waters' case.
Yes, Your Honor, I have Sarah on some cases down in Common Pleas Court. I learned last week that she had some review hearing issues up here in your court, and so I'm here today to, on her behalf, and also to advise you of what we've resolved down in Common Pleas Court, because I think it might help you in your resolution.
Looks like she had a prior criminal damaging and a theft offense.
Yes, that's what I understand now. And it looks like she's already been convicted of those and just missed her review hearings. Here's what's going on in Common Pleas Court. So we resolved those cases last week. Her sentence in Common Pleas Court, at least the recommendation, is going to be a 4-year term of community control sanctions with intensive supervision, and a requirement that she complete an inpatient drug rehab program as part of her community control sanctions down there. We couldn't finalize it last Wednesday because we didn't have her bed, but as of last Friday, we found a bed for her at Lawrence County Recovery. So they're currently holding her bed for her, I'm advised by Eddie Spears from the Community Control Department. So we've rescheduled her for this Wednesday. However, Judge Ballard advised me that if I could get back down there today, that he would agree to release her to her bed at Lawrence County Recovery.
Okay, I'll list the warrant here and just set another review hearing for her. She has these things to take care of, and I encourage her to be successful in treatment. We'll put it on for March 20th.
Yeah, sure, she'll be in by then. Sarah, you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to have 2 places you're dealing with court in. But this is one of them. We've got to be back here on March 20th, and this is in Chesapeake, okay?
Okay.
All right.
So
All right, thank you.
you have some community service and fines to pay, but wait on those until you get into recovery and do well. So I encourage you to do that, and we'll just work with you until we get that done.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Pre-trial review. Let's call it pre-trial.
Okay.
March 20th.
All right, thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you.
All right, I'll see you in a few days, Sarah.
So release
All right.
whatever warrant we have should be released.
State of Ohio versus Mason
Thank you, Judge.
Priest, case number CRB 21-221 and CRB 21-189.
And this, I had Mr. Steyer down as counsel.
I was counsel on this in the past. I think this is one that had lain fallow for some time, and Mr. Priest had maybe come into custody and was reset to today. I wasn't aware of it until I saw it on the docket this morning.
I don't think there's ever been a resolution that he had missed. Well, it wasn't that long ago. February 7th, he missed the pre-trial.
I have March 7th of 2022 is the last time.
Oh, that's right. It's not 23, it's 22. Okay, so it's been over a year.
I may have a case number.
Case number is 21221, 21189. It was actually, I think it was continued. Anyway, the last time I think he was here, it looks like, was in January of 22. How do you want to proceed on these?
Your Honor, my understanding is that the state is looking for some kind of a treatment for Mr. DePriest. The report we got was that there was a treatment issue.
A year ago, there was, and is that Mr. DePriest on the screen by any chance or not?
Is that Mr. DePriest?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is Mr. DePriest.
See, he was just before the court last Friday and had been, the last time he'd been in court before that was February 14th of 22. It's an old cases.
He had been at Riverside before, and he had had an ankle monitor before.
He actually completed residential treatment, and that was reported to the court on October the 25th of 2021. But he hadn't been following through with his, whatever you would call that, aftercare.
Outpatient aftercare. What I would propose, Your Honor, would be to have him evaluated for treatment, see where he stands at this point, since it's been so long since we've had any report. Is Riverside here still?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you guys be willing to speak to him again?
Yes, sir.
Maybe ask Riverside to speak to him. I don't know if it's going to be an inpatient situation or not. If it looks like an outpatient situation, obviously we would just need to ask, we would ask for an OR bond. If it's an inpatient, we recognize that the court would likely require an OR bond with release only to treatment.
And an ankle monitor. He had an ankle monitor before. Unless he has some amazing explanation of where he's been for the last year.
Well, in that case, Your Honor, that would be the court's, if that's the court's decision, that's what I'm looking for, thank you. If that's the court's decision, what we would ask for would be that he be allowed an OR bond with ankle monitor with a requirement that he be assessed by Riverside and cooperate with the assessment. If Riverside says outpatient, then he's just gonna have to come back to court and get himself to outpatient, and we'll revisit things then. And if Riverside says inpatient, if he wants out of jail, he'll have to go to inpatient.
And put it on the docket for Friday.
I believe I'm here Friday. Let me make 100% certain of that.
When can Riverside do the assessment?
Today.
Okay. Well, let's do that.
I'm here Friday.
But if I say he has to have an ankle monitor, that's a problem. Wow.
Well, if you order the ankle monitor now, if they want it for outpatient, then he can just get the ankle monitor when it's available and come out and come back Friday. And if they want him for inpatient, when would you have a bed if you could get him inpatient? Do you have any idea?
I have a bed right now.
So if they were going inpatient, then, I mean, I think it's probably too late today to get him an ankle monitor, but probably in the next day or so we could get him one. And then Riverside would bring him to court on Friday.
Well, I think he needs an ankle monitor regardless.
Sure.
What's the state's position?
Well, I'm in agreement with that, because we kind of left him or he left us and wasn't actually doing very well in his treatment at that time. I don't know, he doesn't appear to have, I don't know if he's listening. I hope he's listening to us. I'd like his input about whether he thinks that he would be willing to go to treatment. I mean, we can just prosecute the cases if we need to, but we'd prefer him to go to treatment.
Well, Mr. DePriest, recognizing that this is basically, in effect, your only way out of jail in the immediate future, are you willing to cooperate with treatment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll order him to be assessed by Riverside for treatment, and if they agree to accept him, he's to be released only to them or to outpatient if that's what they want, but it has to be with an ankle monitor. Come back on Friday.
Yeah, that's fine, Your Honor. Is there a specific OR bond amount so that we can process this if it gets done?
2,000 OR.
Thank you.
And I think, Your Honor, it might be prudent to know what address he would be at if he's not in residential.
Where would you be living, Mr. DePriest, if you were not at the jail or inpatient?
What's the address there, sir?
22,
Waterloo?
Did you catch that?
22927, State Route 141.
Is there a phone number where you can be reached?
643.
Give me just a second, sir. Hang on.
That's a landline.
Is that a 740 number, first off?
Yes.
Yes.
And give me that number again, please. 646?
643.
643.
0611.
0611.
It probably still rings like.
And is that a landline or a cell phone?
Landlord.
Okay.
Rotary phone.
I've added that to my phone, so I'll be able to get a hold of you if you call me from that number.
Okay, next hearing is this Friday, March 3rd.
Thank you.
State of Ohio versus Edith Gregory, case number CRB 23121.
Edith Gregory, at the jail. Ma'am, are you Edith Ruth Ann Gregory? I'm Judge Capper at the Lawrence County Municipal Court. This is your arraignment hearing. You have a right to remain silent. You don't have to make statements. If you choose to make statements, what you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney, to have an attorney appointed if you can't afford one. You have a right to bail and to make the state prove charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand those things?
Yes, sir.
You're charged with domestic violence. The complaint alleges that at Union Township on February 26th, you knowingly caused or tried to cause physical harm to Donald Meigs, M-A-B-E-S, a family or household member. Okay, apparently. The maximum penalty for this is 6 months in jail, $1,000 fine. Do you understand the charge? How do you wish to plead to this charge?
Not guilty.
You want a lawyer appointed to represent you?
No.
Do you have the money to hire a lawyer?
No.
Well, then it would be a good idea to get a lawyer appointed for you. Do you have a job?
Yes, I have a job. I also have a 4-year-old home.
What do you do? What's your job?
I work at the Dollar Tree in South Point, Ohio.
Where you're paid by the hour then, right?
Yes.
How much per hour?
I make 10 an hour.
You're eligible for court-appointed lawyer then. I'll appoint Mr. Steyer to represent you. And we're gonna need another one too. You got anybody? That's it? Okay, so Mr. Steyer's in the courtroom. If you look on this right screen, you can see him. He's got the green shirt on. He's going to be your lawyer. And do you want an order sheet? There's a co-defendant.
There's a co-defendant?
And they're filed domestic violence on both of them. Do you want Donald ordered to stay away from you while this case is pending?
Do they reside together?
I don't know.
Do you reside with Donald?
No, he lives next door.
Okay, so if there were a protective order, you wouldn't have any trouble staying away? You would just stay at your home and he'd stay at his?
I have no issue staying away from him, that's what I.
Okay. Well, what I would ask then, Your Honor, is that depending on Mr., I don't know the other individual's last name, is it Donald?
Mabes.
Okay. Depending on his answer to that we either have no protective orders or reciprocal protective orders. I think having the protective orders going only one way can cause a problem, but either reciprocal or none. So if you could hold your ruling on this until we know what his situation is.
Okay.
I think that would be the wisest.
Sounds like she doesn't mind if these orders there. And he's not charged with domestic, he's charged with aggravated menacing.
That's a strange set of charges then. We'll look into that further as we look.
Okay, in any event, I'm entering a not guilty plea for you. Do you have, how can Mr. Sire get a hold of you? Do you have a phone where you can be reached?
I have a cell phone.
What's that number, please?
It is 740-744-7291.
And what was your name again, ma'am? I'm sorry.
Edith Gregory?
Edith Gregory?
Yes.
Okay. Can you get text messages with that phone?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I'll send a text message to you with my name. If you can just respond to me when you get out, that way we'll have each other's phone numbers. And we'll have a new date to come back to court. And we'll figure out a time to talk between now and then.
Okay.
How about next Monday? A week from today.
Next Monday, I am available.
Okay. Your next hearing, ma'am, is going to be March the 6th, a week from today, at 10 a.m. at the Municipal Court in Chesapeake. Do you know where that is?
Yes, I live right across the road from him.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to let her sign a $1,000 signature bond. She's getting out on an OR bond.
They said they're going to wait because there's no code.
So, as I understand it, if he wants you ordered to stay away from him, you want him ordered to stay away from you. Is that right?
Yes. Correct, ma'am?
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a further question. If he says the same thing,
Then neither of us have asked to have them stay away.
okay. I
Is
guess
that-
either that or maybe they both.
Okay. You will need to come to court next Monday morning at 10 a.m.
Thank you. May I approach?
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, you're finished, ma'am. I saw.
State of Ohio versus Donald P. Mabes, case number CRB 23-120.
If he wants one, they both get one. If he doesn't want one, neither gets one.
Sir, are you Donald Mays? Am I pronouncing it correctly? Okay. I'm Judge Capper at the Lawrence County Municipal Court. You have an aggravated menacing charge filed, and it's involving Edith Ruth Ann Gregory. It alleges that on February 26th in Union Township, you knowingly caused her to believe you would cause serious physical harm to her person or property. It's a first-degree misdemeanor. Maximum penalty is 6 months in jail, $1,000 fine. And I see from the affidavit, she's your sister, right? Okay. All right, how do you plead to this charge? Do you want a lawyer appointed to represent you? Do you have a job? What do you do?
I think the middle name will really people over people.
For what? I didn't hear where.
I'm an assistant general manager for Little General in West Virginia. I float between Winfield's, Hurricanes, Nona, and my store around here.
Are you paid by the hour?
Yes.
How much per hour?
11.
Okay, you're eligible for court-appointed lawyer. And I will appoint Roger Smith to represent you. And he's not here in court right now, but he should be here next Monday, I think. Well, maybe not. Can we tell if you?
I can't tell from the computer, Your Honor.
He said he was available all Fridays, but that's Monday, so I remember now. I'll appoint Mr. Morford. Let's make it Mr. Morford, because I think I already set a case for him for Monday. So Mr. Morford is going to be your lawyer. Now, I can order your sister to stay away from you, because I understand you all live next door to each other. So I gave her that option. She basically said she only wanted you ordered to stay away from her if you wanted her ordered to stay away from him. So do you want her ordered to stay away from you?
I just plan on staying away from her because I was approved because I was with her grandfather with her living next door to him. I just moved up here from back to West Virginia earlier this month. And the way she acted last night is a big reason why I moved up here because she violated out and I'm afraid that she was seriously abused.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to put on an official order then, because you didn't ask me to. So I'm not.
Did she put an order against me?
No, she did not.
I will steer clear of her.
Okay. And be back here, and you know where the court is? I understand you just live right down the street from the court.
I will find it.
It's right across, it's on County Road 1, Old 52 in Chesapeake.
Is it across from
The flea market, yes, across from the flea market. You gotta be here next Monday morning, 10 o'clock. And your lawyer will be here.
Okay.
Maybe not at 10 o'clock, but he'll be here for something. Usually not here early. Okay, I'm entering a not guilty plea for you. I'm letting you out on a signature bond of $1,000. It just means as long as you come to the court, you don't have to post the money. If you don't show up, then you get a warrant and you have to pay the money for not showing up.
Okay. I will do it. I will get to it.
Okay. We'll see you next week, and you and your sister be good and don't get into any fights between now and then.
I work too much. I was getting off work when that happened last.
Okay. March the 6th is your next hearing.
March the 6th.
10 o'clock. March 6th.
State of Ohio versus Mason Thacker, case number CRA 21844.
Sir, are you Mason Thacker?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thacker, you've got a possession of drugs charge, CRA 21844. Alleges that at Perry Township on November 22nd of 2021, so this is case is over a year old, you knowingly obtained, possessed, or used methamphetamine, a Schedule II substance. It's a felony 5, maximum penalty 1 year in jail, $2,500 fine. Do you understand this charge?
Yes, sir.
Do you have the money to hire a lawyer?
No, sir.
Do you have a job?
No, sir. I work odd jobs sometimes. I do odd labor.
Okay, I'm going to appoint J.T. Holt to represent you.
Okay.
And what's the state's position on bond? And the record of the court shows that Mr. Thacker was supposed to be here November 26th of 21, failed to appear, and there's been a warrant outstanding since then.
I called the day before, I had a 72-hour hold from Steve Medical for the COVID test. And I told them that message, I didn't hear anything back, and instead of following up like I should have, I just got called.
We would want him to be checked out to see if, I mean, there's a potential anyway that he still is suffering from some issues related to substance abuse that we would want to have some intervention. So if he would be willing to seek treatment, we would not oppose an OR bond.
Okay.
Have you ever been to treatment before, sir?
Yes, sir, I've been to OVP.
30-day program, or which?
Yeah.
Was that by order of a court, or you did it on your own?
No, I did it on my own.
When was that?
A couple months ago, well, actually, about 5 months ago.
And how have you been doing since?
To be honest, I started going, instead of taking this boxing, I was going to the methadone clinic, and I stopped doing it for a little bit, so I started doing it again. I'm just being honest with you. But I've been going back to the methadone clinic. That's why I feel as rough as I do, because I got back off the heroin and started taking methadone over the last week and a half.
What's your dosage on methadone?
110.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes, sir.
Problem is going to be getting somebody that wants to deal with that. You do?
Yeah, he's only been on it for a week. It's going to be an easy transition
And why would they start him at 110 then?
because they're not the smartest people.
Okay, I'm going to release you, so you're willing to go inpatient
That's fine.
to Bethesda with a signature bond of $2,000.
When are you going?
I'll get him today.
Today,
Oh, okay.
unless you want to stay at the jail a while longer.
No, I'm cool with that.
Okay. I didn't think, nobody ever wants to stay at the jail.
Nah, I'm saying what to do.
Well, then you need to start doing the stuff that keeps you out of jail, including coming to court. So if you don't come to court, let me just make sure you understand, because you've already done it once, failed to come. You're charged with a felony, which this is not the felony court. Do you know where my court is in Chesapeake?
Yeah.
The felony court's right across the street from where you are now, the common pleas.
I know.
So you have the chance, because of what typically happens on these kind of cases like you've got, if you'll go to treatment and do well, the state may even just dismiss it. So you don't get a felony on your record, you got nothing on your record.
That'd be amazing.
But if you blow it off again, then I'm gonna say he's had his chance, send it on down to the grand jury. It's so serious, you gotta get indicted by the grand jury first, then you go to the common police court. And if you mess up there, they can actually send you to prison.
Right.
So don't mess with this. Do what you're supposed to do, go to treatment, get it dismissed, get it in recovery. That's what it sounds like you wanted anyway, because you went to treatment on your own at one point, right? So you're getting another chance. Take advantage of it.
I appreciate it. I will.
And now, you've got to be at court in Chesapeake, and if you go with Bethesda, they'll bring you. So that shouldn't be a problem. But if you run, then I'm just going to tell the prosecutor, send it to the grand jury. Let them deal with it, which means you'll be out of my court, I won't see you anymore. You'll have other judges down across the street to deal with.
Okay.
You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's come back here. Well, just to make sure, let's make it March 6th. So I'm only going to give you a week before I want to check on you and see where you are.
Okay.
So I'll see you on March the 6th with a good report from Bethesda, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, they're gonna come down and talk to you and get you out of jail this afternoon to go. But you're going straight to the treatment. You're not going home, you're not going to McDonald's or anything like that, okay?
Okay,
All right.
thank you. State of Ohio versus Brandon Stewart, case number CRA 23123.
Were you with him, ma'am? Okay, yeah. Talk to this lady back here. She's the one that's gonna be dealing with him. Okay, sir, are you Brandon Stewart? Mr. Stewart, you've got some new charges. Case number is 23123. It was faxed down to the jail this morning at 10:30, so you should have it by now. It alleges trafficking in drugs. It alleges that at Union Township, February 26th, you knowingly prepared, shipped, transported, or delivered methamphetamine. An amount that was over the bulk amount, but less than 5 times the bulk amount. And it says that there were multiple baggies weighing approximately 3 grams each that you knew or had reason to know were meant for resale. So that's a felony of the 3rd degree. The maximum penalty for that is 5 years in jail and a $10,000 fine. Do you understand this charge?
Yes, sir.
And do you well, let me explain your rights, because I didn't explain to you. You have a right to remain silent. You don't have to make statements. If you do, they're on the record, can be used against you. You have a right to bail, to make the state prove this charge beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand all that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have the money to hire a lawyer?
No.
Do you have a job?
No, I'm homeless right now.
Okay, I'm going to appoint a lawyer for you, and I'll appoint J.T. Holt. And you came into the jail on yesterday?
Yes, sir.
I'm not playing on my phone. I'm sending Mr. Holt a copy of your complaint, so he'll see it. So, let's see, we should have, we need to have the preliminary on March 6th. What's the state's position on bond for Mr. Stewart?
We would ask for a $5,000 cash or surety bond.
Okay, I'm saying your bond at $5,000 cash or surety. Do you understand what that means?
That's it.
Okay, if you've got $5,000 cash that you can pay to the clerk to hold to guarantee your appearance, you can do that, and you get it all back when your case is over. If you don't have $5,000 cash, you can use a bail bondsman. That's what the surety means. And then you have to pay that person whatever fee they want to charge you. Typically, it's 10% to guarantee your appearance. And then if you don't show up, they're going to come hunt you down because they don't want to pay the $5,000.
All right.
So do you want to talk to a bail bondsman, or you think you can post bond or not?
I might be able to talk to
Okay, we'll have a bail bondsman contact you. But you've got to be, if you post bond, of course, the bail bondsman will let you know, but you've got to be at the court in Chesapeake next Monday, March the 6th at 10 a.m. for a preliminary hearing. Do you know where the court is in Chesapeake? Okay. Mr. Holt's going to be your lawyer. And I've texted him a copy of your charges and the date and time of your hearing. Do you have any questions, Mr. Stewart? Okay, that's all, and we are finished at the jail.
State of Ohio recalls Jeremy W. Lewis, case number TRC 222562A and B, and CRA 22674.
Okay, so I guess I'll give him the benefit of the doubt since I got two conflicting reports, but we need to get a better report next month.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm not available 1 month from today, so.
About the 24th.
The 24th, I am available.
Be March 24th.
Apologize, Judge.
Thank you. Give me a good report next month.
I will.
March 24th, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
State of Ohio versus Sierra Evans, case number CRB 22534.
Okay, this was a review that Ms. Evans was called earlier. She wasn't here then, but she's here now. And have you done anything on your case?
I have not, Your Honor.
Why not?
Due to us recently moving home here from Florida, I have had to find a job, and I did have 2 jobs. That ended up being too much pressure for me, so I quit that job, and then I'm still working, but I'm also helping my mom around with the kids that she has. She has 2 disabled kids, and I'm mainly the person that helps, especially around the house, because my dad works and my mom works, so.
Well, you're gonna have to make this a priority and get this done at some point.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to still do it and make sure it's done. I'm gonna also pay my fine today.
Okay. I'll set your next hearing for April the 14th. If you get your community service done by then, you don't have to come back.
All right.
April 14th, 9 a.m. That's your next hearing date. Write that down on that piece of paper.
State of Ohio versus Amy Jo Piles, case number CRB 17280, CRB 17154, CRB 15970.
This is another case that had been called earlier in the docket, and Ms. Piles was not here again, so.
Usually we're with the sentencing part of this court. We've been doing this for like a year now, and we're always called at like 10:30, 11. I apologize, I should have been here earlier.
They did it to us last week.
Sir. Quiet. You're out of order. You got it? Okay. Okay, what have you done on your cases since the last time you were here?
I made a payment. I have a payment today.
How much are you paying?
I have $40. That was another thing. While we were late, we went to an ATM that didn't have any money in it, and it tried to take it out of my account twice. So that was part of the delay.
Okay. Well, you're here now, so your next hearing is going to be March 27th. And I think I let Mr. Sowards off the hook on this.
Yeah, when they said that we had already been called, I was like, oh my God, I don't know why Gary hasn't contacted me yet.
Because I let him off the hook.
Thank you.
March 27th is your next hearing. It will be at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much. Wait, is the 27th on a Monday?
It is.
Okay, thank you.
State of Ohio versus Joseph Whaley, case number CRB 17170, CRB 17133, and CRB 173.
All right, Joseph Whaley, same thing, it was called earlier. Mr. Whaley is here, he's been waiting very patiently, haven't you?
Yeah.
What have you got to say?
Nothing. I ain't trying to be out of order.
Well, that's not good to be out of order, but now you're on the floor, so you're allowed to speak. What are you gonna do on your case today?
Make a payment, I guess.
How much?
I don't know, my wife's, whatever she wants to do, I guess.
All right, see the clerk, and your next hearing is March 27th at 9 a.m.
Just so everyone knows, Your Honor, this is, when people come in late like this, is where the bailiff needs to give some sort of punishment by making them wait till the meeting.
I thought we were on the sentencing part. I didn't know we were scheduled under review. I don't have anything to do with a computer back there.
Yes, sir.
Next time will be at 9 a.m., so just make a note.
Thank you.
State of Ohio versus Amber Mills, case number PRC 171164.
All right, and this is,
I missed Friday, I believe. Somebody called me and said my name was called.
okay,
Paying on my phone. I've already made my payment this morning.
you made a payment today?
Yes, I have the receipt right here, $10.
$10, I see it. Okay. March 27th, it's your next hearing, 9 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Court's adjourned.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I had a comment who, he just for a few months.
So